weeb, grana weeb, mini bomb there, gentlemen. This is Culture Crows. Hello, Jeffrey. Hello, Stu.
Bonjour. I don't know where I've gone French. Maybe it's the mustache. Hello. How are you?
Hello.
Merry Christmas.
Ooh,
Yes.
We've passed this pandemic by podcasting, but it's the first one in a while. I don't even remember the last one we did.
Was last night the last night of Hanukkah? Yesterday, I think it was. Happy Hanukkah to anybody who's
Hanukkah.
We have Festivus on next Wednesday. Festivus for the rest of us.
And Yuletide.
Say what?
Yes.
Yuletide.
And Yuletide. Yes. You
gotta die then you.
So for all of you people out there, if we should by chance get this out by Christmas, maybe then it won't be so bad.
If not,
anyway,
happy Easter.
I know, right? And a happy Halloween to you.
You absolutely.
Happy Holy Days.
All that. Well, gentlemen, so we have on tap a marvelously self-indulgent. As I was driving home from work today, I was like, I don't think anyone's really going to care about this, but maybe. I mean, we're really just making it for us at this point. But maybe we'll turn some people on to some fantastic music.
Maybe.
Or people will just make fun of us until we cry.
I'm used to that.
Whichever.
It's absolutely fine.
Okay. Well,
I'm
ready.
I went to a Catholic school for Pete's sake.
Oh.
No, wait. And I dressed like it's 1942.
I thought it was for being in the worst Star Wars movie.
It could be, but
okay.
But it's better than not being in a Star Wars movie.
Well, I don't know. Is it?
It was terrible. To be honest, it was terrible.
Oh, I mean, you told me there was
one?
a bunch of politically conservative individuals.
Extremely sort of, yeah.
Which one?
They probably cried that.
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi.
Oh.
You
Yeah,
got to ask which one, Jeffrey.
I don't know. Some people hate the
Rise of Skywalker. It's bad, but it's not that bad. Speaking of Star Wars stuff, completely off topic, I realize, but it's been so long since we talked. Stu, do you watch The Mandalorian at all? Have you kept up?
I don't have Disney Plus.
Okay.
Because my husband is an adult and I'm not.
Well,
I don't have children.
Would you even be I should get that. I probably wouldn't pay for it outside of the Mandalorian season at this point if it weren't for my kids. But
if my artwork sold well, I would.
Oh, it does have the Marvel movies, yes. But no, like the Mandalorian's been on. How are you enjoying season 2, Jeffrey?
Oh, very much. I am looking forward to watching.
I think we talked about this. Okay. Oh, is that the last episode?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Tonight, I think.
Oh, Baba, what's his face? Baba Fett's deed.
Boba Fett is alive, well, and
no, the one who played him in the originals.
Shut up.
No, yeah, Boba Fett kicks. I feel vindicated because Jeff knows this. I've been like a 35-year Boba Fett fanboy, and like now I feel vindicated because this one episode's like, holy shit. Oh
no, the actor who played Boba Fett.
Yeah, in the originals he died.
Yeah, that
yesterday or day before, something.
R.I.P. Jeremy Bullock. Yeah, I actually met him at one of those Star Wars Celebration 2 back in 2002, right before Attack of the Clones came out. He was very kind, very gracious.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was a cool dude. Like that's
When Attack of the Clones came out, I was really disappointed that there wasn't a whole bunch of like 80s gay men with mustaches kind of in puffer jackets coming to get me. It was a totally different thing altogether. Different clones.
Like Freddie Mercury coming out. Yeah, okay. I got you. Yeah, Stu, that's the wrong kind of clone. Yeah. I actually think it probably would have worked out better had that been the case, but
it would have been at least funny.
Yes.
What do you think of Bill Burr's performance?
I don't know, like you and my wife were like big Bill Burr fans, but like he's all right. He's
No,
all right.
but have you seen last week's?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he's like, you can see just the disgust and
Oh
loathing.
no, he actually did some acting. He did some
Yeah.
acting in was it Breaking Bad? Like he actually did some quality scenes.
I heard he was good in King of Staten Island.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Who was he in Breaking Bad?
He was just some like minor like thug kind of guy.
Okay.
It's been years since I've watched that, but I do
I love
recall
Breaking Bad.
some of his scenes. Yes. So, without further ado, gentlemen, I say we talk about the greatest albums ever made according to what's most influential to us.
Yes.
So,
to me, it's not even that they're the most influential. They're not the greatest albums. It's just
no, in fact, okay,
influential.
how much influence they've had on our
Yeah,
life.
yeah, that's what I did too.
That was part of our our conversation. Is like, okay, the greatest albums ever made. And like people have done that. You can go like read Rolling Stone. They release like a magazine of the top 500 like most influential albums or whatever. And I mean, granted, not all of them end up being the same, but I mean, the conversation's always around the same one. So to hell with that, I say we talk about our own experiences with albums. And so, gentlemen, iDictionary.com, the first bullet here. And it's if you go to dictionary.com, you look at the definition of album, it's a collection of audio recordings released together as a collected work.
The second one's sad.
The second one is from Urban Dictionary, so that's where you go to look up like Alabama Hot Pocket and Dirty Sanchez.
Whoever wrote that, I'm going to chase them down and do bad things.
Oh yeah, that's right. This is the time to plug your. This is the time to plug your band's new EP.
This new EP.
Oh,
upstairs for thinking, downstairs for dancing. Permission.
Woo!
By Hadrian's Union. You can listen to it now on bandcamp.com, but you can only listen to it 3 times before you have to pay for it. Hurrah! And it will not be streamed on any of the streaming services until we have milked this puppy dry.
Okay.
So yeah, and there's a video on YouTube as well for less of you.
Yes, actually, I like you had said that to me a little bit ago, and like I actually think that's your best video. You did some quality job.
Yeah, we did it all. We did it all ourselves as well.
Yeah, and then
seen it yet.
Say what?
I don't know if I've seen it yet.
Speaking of your video, Stu, people kept asking me to play Christmas music today, so I played your Grumpy Ballad of Grumpy Old Man.
Oh, great!
And then I played your Love Simply Love as well, which that's some quality artwork there too. That was a good video.
Cool.
I like
Tim did the video for that.
I like the British Eccentric song.
English eccentric.
Oh yes, that
I like that.
That one's good.
Thank you. What did the kids make of the Ballad of the Grumpy Old Man? They were like, what the fuck?
Is he English? I'm like, that was about it. And it was like, did they really say underpants? I'm like, probably.
Yes,
I mean, like underwear, underpants, like captain underpants.
Because we go out dressed in pants and only pants all the time.
That's right. That's right.
Actually, and I remember when I was a child, because I watched so much American TV, I was always calling trousers pants, but we call pants trousers. But as I've got older, and because a lot of my culture is disappearing, I've gone back to saying trousers.
Oh my God!
And what are actual
fight the good
pants?
fight?
And what are pants?
Sorry?
And what are
underpants?
Pants?
Underpants.
Yeah,
so
underwear.
pants are simply underwear.
Yes, that's why I say we got nothing but pants all the time.
You're just walking around in underwear all of the time.
That was the joke.
But actually, t-shirts are underwear. That's what they're originally designed for.
Well, okay. Well, that I do. Like wear my t-shirt now, but
so that you're wearing your clothes appropriately, and that is a fantastic Stranger Things jumper.
Thank you, thank you.
I'm wearing
was
call it
Ugly
black
Sweater
underwear.
Friday.
You wouldn't call it a jumper, though. You would call that a sweater. Am I correct?
That is correct. It is a sweater.
So I'm streaming in black underwear then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take it all off, baby.
Yeah, baby. Getting all Lebowski on our ass.
Oh, was that a nip?
Nope,
Was that
I
a
didn't
nip
go that
slip?
low. I didn't go that low. YouTube will catch us.
Man, YouTube's gonna censor a male nipple. I don't think that's true, Jeffrey.
No.
Male nipples all over YouTube's.
If WAP can get on, then this can get on.
You are so correct. Oh,
Am I the only person who hates that song?
What was that? Sorry, my dog's barking.
Am I the only person who hates that song?
I loved oh shoot, what's that little shit's name? Ben Shapiro. I loved his rendition.
No, I've not heard it. Biffy Clyro do quite a good version.
Wait, is Ben Shapiro that really douchey conservative guy?
Yes.
Oh. I don't know if I want to know. Okay.
He reads it. He like reads out the lyrics like, "Oh God, I'm so appalled," but he's like reading at the wet ass p word, wet ass p word,
he says ass, but not p word.
Yes.
Wait. Is this the same guy that like talks about his wife like not being able to please his wife?
His wife's a doctor. I know that.
I think this is the one where people
say
like he couldn't please his wife or something, and like everybody started feeling bad for her.
Well, this is a terrible joke, but yeah, Jews aren't supposed to eat clams, so.
Oh.
We're gonna have to put a disclaimer on that one, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just glad I didn't say it.
Jeffrey's comment regarding Judaism and eating shellfish does not reflect upon Culture Crow's organization as a whole.
I think he's also just upset a whole bunch of women as well.
Oh my God. Anyway, oh my God. I'm going to go talk about the antiquated memes of.
We haven't even started yet.
I was just looking for sort of like I was actually going to write my own like stupid definition, but I'm like, I'll check Urban Dictionary to see what it says. And I'm like, this is fantastic. I'm going to use it. Antiquated means of distributing music, tracks, and other audio content made popular during an era when vinyl discs were used to transport audio recordings. A vinyl disc called a record would contain a contiguous set of music from the same or related artists, often composing an overarching theme across multiple ordered tracks placed by the cassette tape and the compact disc.
Yes.
So, okay, like I know what I have on the next slide. So, gentlemen, what's your experience with the album as a medium?
It means everything to me.
Well,
it shaped my life.
It has.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be as poor as I am if I wasn't been trying to.
I want your story, Stu. You don't have to name like a specific artist. Like if you want to say something that's not on our list here today, but like, what's one album where you just like you couldn't wait to get home? Like I remember especially doing this when I was like 12, 13 with cassette tapes, and like you crack that plastic case open, you whip the tape out, who cares, or you stick it in and play it, whatever, and you just sit there and you just like look through the liner notes. And it's just a thing of beauty.
He's in the band.
Read the lyrics as they sang, and you're like, "Oh man, that's my jam. It's my feels."
I feel it. Absolutely, yeah. Totally.
Right. So you've had those kind of moments.
I still look for them, and I still try and find those moments. I want to know, who else is in Coldplay except for Chris Martin? Haven't got a clue. Nobody does. So
Gwyneth Paltrow's lover, other lover,
maybe, I don't know. Perhaps
one of her vagina eggs.
Apples, pears, oranges, all the other fruit.
Or that, yes.
Yeah. So that's what's changed. One of the things which has changed with albums no longer being as physical as they were. So we don't have that experience as much anymore. And it was always it helped build my dreams about being in a band. So before I was even in a band, before I even started writing music, what I would do on a Saturday with my best friend Tony, would go into town in Newcastle, and I'd have £2 pocket money, and he would have a bit more because his dad was a butcher and had more money than my parents did. So what we'd spend basically from 9 o'clock in the morning. So we'd get up very early, and then till 5 o'clock until the shops were shut, and we'd go from every single record shop in town, searching through the bargain bins, and we'd figure out which things we could buy with our pocket money every single weekend. So I'd build up a singles collection up until the point then you find when an album would come out, then I wouldn't buy the singles up until I had enough money to buy that album. So I'd build up the want and the sort of, there's a magic behind that kind of it's like, do you want the biscuit? Do you want the cookie? Do you want it? Do you want it? Do you want it? And then eventually you get it, and it's even sweeter than you expected it to be in the first place because of all that anticipation behind it. And then you'd have the experience of putting it on and taking it out of the sleeve and finding out who's in the band. And then you might buy the NME magazine, which would tell you even more about the band that you're slowly getting obsessed with.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
This is all stuff like pre-internet age. Like you don't know what lengths
you'd have to
had to go through to find info, especially like where Jeff and I grew up, just to find information about a band that you liked. I remember like flipping through like a Metal Hammer or Metal's Edge, whatever the hell it was,
Metal Hammer,
like looking for
Crash
something.
magazine.
Yeah, and like just looking for like, okay, like all right, they like you look in that like upcoming album news or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like, all right, is my favorite, like, is so and so here? Nope, not this, because you just didn't know. You didn't know because there was no media for that.
Well, I used to watch Headbangers Ball to find out stuff.
Well, yeah, of course there's stuff that they would say on MTV, but like
that wasn't until when was that, in
late 80s? Well, Headbangers Ball is what, late 80s, early 90s?
But Dire Straits' Money for Nothing was the first video played
on MTV.
It was Buggles' Video Killed the Radio Star.
Sorry?
It was the Buggles' Video Killed the Radio Star.
In the UK, it was Dire Straits' Money for Nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard that.
We have learned something today. We got the Buggles, and we got Dire Straits.
Yes. We see, we're educating the world.
But there was some channel, I can't remember what it was. Must have been one of the major ones because I was still on the farm and no such thing as cable. They used to play videos really late at night, and
Friday night videos.
Was that it?
VH1.
It was on Friday night. Yeah, Friday night videos.
And they would show. Oh man, I can't remember the name. I remember there were maggots in the video, and it kind of freaked me out.
Is it? Oh shit.
Megadeth?
I don't know. I didn't really get into 80s metal a whole lot, so like.
No, it wasn't metal. It wasn't metal.
And it had maggots.
Yeah, it was poppy. Poppy, slightly downcast.
And it had maggots
in the video.
He doesn't remember.
That's not a lot to go on, Jeff.
Yeah, not really giving us much to work with. Jeff, wait.
Ah, crap.
Wait. God damn it, Jeff. There, I feel like.
No, the first one is Jeffrey. You always say, God damn it, Jeffrey. Get it right.
I thought I said it both ways.
God damn it, Jeffrey. How's that? Well, let do.
Oh, there's the cat knocking down some shit here.
Excellent. So, if it wasn't for I was living, like films like, is it Hard-Fi with John Cusack?
High Fidelity.
So I was kind of living that type of lifestyle, and all those sort of like films set in record shops. That was my life, and just on the weekend, and I'd read. So I'd go through school throughout the week, and once I'd started learning to play the guitar, then I'd do that. I'd go home and listen to Nirvana and other bits and bobs and stop. And before I could even play the guitar, I'd get so much joy just finding feedback and just making that noise. I was like, oh, there's a vague sound like that on the there's the CD. And so I was kind of, I can make something sound the same. And I had no idea how to tune a guitar at that point, but I didn't care because I was making noises. And my mum used to turn the electricity off because she'd be screaming for me to come and get you. Stewie, your tea's ready. It was a very, very small house, but she couldn't be bothered to walk up the stairs to come and get me. So she would turn the electricity off to stop the music.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
So it was like, it's like she can control me in my room from somewhere else.
Sounds like an intelligent lady.
She's very clever as my mum.
Indeed. All right, Jeff, do you have any of those moments where you just like sat in your room, like pouring through the liner notes of a record or a cassette or a CD?
Yeah, but it was slightly disappointing. At least one of them that I remember, like, ooh, gotta get home. It was the Guns N' Roses.
Use Your Illusion?
Yes.
One or two?
I got both of them. And then, you know, there were a couple of good songs, but a lot of them were kind of
filler.
Filler, yeah.
Yeah.
Two was better than one.
Yep.
I don't remember. I just remember You Could Be Mine was good.
Yeah. Get in the Ring. Oh, Get in the Ring.
November Rain was good. They ripped off the Beatles.
But I got into a fight with my dad because of that record.
You what?
Why?
I got into a fight with my dad because of Get in the Ring.
Oh!
I was very young and
this one would. It's quite vulgar, right?
Get in the ring! I'm going to kick your mother, etc., etc. So I was screaming that at the top of my lungs in my bedroom. My dad was outside in the garden, and he came running up the stairs, and he held me against the wall. If you talk to me like that again.
Wow.
It was the 80s.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we don't talk so much these days.
Oh yeah, okay. Well,
but yeah, so albums do change your life. It kind of really got me so. I was so involved emotionally. That's why that's why lyrics are my main thing when I'm writing songs. And I get so involved in the emotion behind what the lyric writer is writing, the poetry behind the meaning of the song. So generally for me, you know, Kurt Cobain is one of my favorite things. And he always said that music came before his lyrics, and the music was more important than the lyrics. But for me, and you can tell that with Kurt's writing, for me, the lyrics were more important than the music, because I've always said I'm an artist more than I am a musician. So I get moved by an emotion of a piece, and to me, the music drives the lyric.
I think you have to be like that.
So the poetry comes first.
Emotionally, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a song.
Okay. All right. So
well, there was one. It's gonna sound weird, but another one I was excited about, and it lived up to the expectation. Was the 78th Frasers. They're a bagpipe group from Canada. I know I'm weird, but whatever.
Like, yes, throw it down, bagpipe to the hellscape.
Well, they're at the top tier when it comes to the bagpiping world. One of the tops, and I knew the drummers from there, and they'd helped us out.
Have you heard the Red Hot Chili Pipers?
Yes, I have. Wait, are they actually? Is that an actual group, Red Hot Chili Pipers?
The Red Hot Chili Pipers is an actual thing.
I haven't.
Oh, no,
but I will.
They play rock songs on bagpipes.
Nice. I'm okay. Really cool. Now I'm cool. Curious.
Yeah.
Like That's A Long Way to the Top. I bet they play that one.
No idea. I don't know.
That one has bagpipes in it already. A Long Way to the Top. If you want to rock and roll.
There's a very good version of an ACD song played on pipes. I can't remember his name.
That's it. That's it. AC/DC. Long Way to the Top. You want to rock and roll.
That's not the one I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, carry on.
I've never heard of this, but it's bagpipes. I mean, I have some affinity for bagpipes.
Thunderstruck.
But
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. So,
well, I still have that, so I will have to play you some 78th Frasers. They are awesome.
Cool.
Awesome. So anyway, the album as a medium, you have this cheeky definition on Urban Dictionary, but it's mostly accurate because I'm going to actually hold up the physical albums that I picked, my 5, but it's funny because like I went to my garage. And like I keep like a shelf that has like more books and it has my CDs on it in my garage, but like that's where I keep them. I don't get them out, so like everything's here. It's the album is not dead per se, but how we consume music has absolutely changed to such a degree.
I still play all the different formats I've got. I still play Mercedes records, even cassettes, and I still use Spotify and I don't download so much. Not really.
I put most of my CDs on the computer years ago.
But I still really enjoy charity shops and finding CDs from charity shops. Like treasure.
Yeah, I mean, you can go to these shop like these charity shops, like they have that stuff. They're at the point they don't even accept them anymore because people just get rid of them, which is sad. But then again, like I was reading an interview with you guys know who Jason Newsted is, right?
Yeah.
No.
He was the bassist for Metallica after Cliff died.
Yeah. So he took over at the Black Album.
Oh yeah.
And
that guy.
He talks about how, because he's not in Metallica anymore, hasn't been for a number of years.
No, you've got this guy.
Yeah. Oh, that Robert Trujillo. So he says that he can live comfortably off of the royalties for the Black Album.
I bet.
Because people still buy that album, which I would never like. Of course, it's Metallica's Black Album, but because so much has changed with our consumption that, like, I was like, oh well.
And they were the big ones standing out against Napster and all that when it was all beginning to change. Yeah.
Yes, Lars was leading the charge against that one.
Yeah, he lost.
Standing in front of the tidal wave, going, "Stop!"
I'm King Canute.
Very good. The Tide, yes.
Nice. Anyway, so like, okay, you guys know I worship at the feet of Stephen Wilson. So
I have another piece of artwork to send you.
You do?
I do. I did 2 of them, and I forgot to, and I didn't finish the other one. So it is your Christmas gift. I shall, and I shouldn't need to put it in the post as well.
Fantastic. I should I already showed you my other one here. Like it's hanging up. There you are. There's your artwork.
So you'll have another one to go with it.
There. Okay, right there.
See. Yeah.
Okay. There we
go. Carry on. Stephen Wilson.
So no, he has these very particular thoughts about how people consume music, and he has this love affair with the album, and I completely identified with it. So at first, like, he was against the iPod thing. Like, there's a video, like, he made this movie, and it's him. Part of it is like him smashing an iPod with a hammer.
I was gonna do that in one of my music videos. He beat me to it.
Oh yeah, by like a decade and a half, Stu. I think it was
my cold dead hands.
Excellent.
It's like, do they even make those anymore, Jeffrey?
No. Well, they make one version, but it's like really fancy and waterproof and all titanium, and it's
I threw my shuffle
over $200.
Oh.
You did what?
Oh, is that a nano or a shuffle?
Shuffle.
It's a shuffle. Yes, I threw mine away yesterday. It died.
Oh.
I know it's sad.
Well, they're great because they last a long time. There's no screen,
I still have a couple Zunes laying around.
The one thing that sucked is blind people loved them because there was no screen, and when you press a button, it tells you what track you're on and what playlist and everything. So that kind of screwed blind people over.
Come on,
good
Apple,
job, Apple.
Anyway, yeah. So it is funny because like I remember like just spending, you said like $200. Like I remember spending like $250 on like this MP3 player back in like 2003, and it was 30 gigabytes.
That's actually pretty big.
30. And so I ended up having to go through like 3 of them because I kept dropping them on the ground. And like I remember, like it was when I lived in San Francisco, so like I'd just be walking along a lot, drop it, and like shit, and it didn't.
So that just brings me to Lonely Island, and he threw it on the ground.
And yes, and we're gonna go like Dick in a Box now too.
Dick in a Box, track. That was a good track.
Jeffrey's looking at us like he doesn't know what we're talking about.
Oh, do you think he like it? Will Jeffrey like it?
Yeah, definitely. It's Andy Samberg and
okay,
right?
The dude who did "I'm on a boat, I'm on a boat, mother, I'm on a boat."
Yeah, they do some spoof songs.
Have you ever heard of Little Dicky? You ever heard of Little Dicky?
I felt a little Dicky.
You know, the sad thing is, I knew that was going to come up.
I knew it was coming. So did I.
Little Dicky
I knew that was coming.
Well, here's
there's a lady in the room. I forgot.
Yeah, you could. You know my wife. That's not going
to.
She she'll put us to shame.
She's a woman, but she's no lady.
Oh, Jeffrey. No, Jeffrey,
you was making dick jokes.
Just dick jokes. Just dick jokes.
Yeah, just dick.
Anyway, you haven't even done one paragraph yet about Steven Wilson.
I know, because I'm talking about the album as a medium and his love affair, and like I empathize, and I happen to agree, because I think with this, going back to when I got that MP3 player way back then, that's when my like neurotic playlisting started. Like I even on my laptop right now, I probably have like 200 playlists.
Wow.
So like I've gotten really weird about it, and I'm like, the album, man, like just being able to sit there at the line and stare at the liner notes and absorb again and again, because like the best music never goes down the first time.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
If you're sitting there listening to a record and you're just like, fuck it, I'm not going to keep going with this, and you just like throw it at the bottom of your closet, I mean, you've definitely missed the point. I think music is meant to be absorbed through the intellect, through the soul, if you will, and just giving it a single listen never really made much sense to me. But like in my vehicle, I have the middle console, and even though I have like this little CD thing where I have like burn CDs just in case I need to listen to it or whatever, because like my MP3 player, my phone's not connecting, which happens more often than I like. Anyway, but I actually have like 5 or 6 CDs, real albums, that I keep in my like this middle part, that I'm like, man, those are albums I will stick in and listen to anywhere, anytime, because I love them so much. And I would say it's been a while. The last time I've experienced an album where I just wanted to, other than like a Steven Wilson thing, is just wanted to like absorb it and inhale it and like fold it in, like, making pastry into my being, my essence, was probably 2017. So like, it doesn't happen very much anymore. But then again, it's like, I don't really buy a lot of albums anymore. And like, even outside of the ones that the artists that I typically follow.
The Hunt is dead is what comes to mind. The Hunt is dead.
The Hunt is dead?
Yeah. Because it's too easy now. Where's the want? In the sense of going to go, well, you just click a button.
Right. And that's the thing. Like I pay for like Amazon Unlimited, $8 a month or whatever it is. So I'll download an album. I'm like, all right, there might be 1 or 2 good songs, but like you're just saying with Use Your Illusion, this is like the idea of filler. Okay. Some artists put out a bunch of filler, acknowledged, but there are some albums you have to sit through, and like when you say you took your pocket money and you take your little CD and you'd go listen to it in your room, put your headphones on or whatever, and like you paid $15 for us $15. I don't know how much it was.
It's about the same.
Pounds.
It was about
Okay, so like that was my hard earned, like that represented like 4 days pay. Okay, maybe not.
Yeah.
But like I was gonna listen to that fucking album. All right, like I'm gonna get something out of it.
Absolutely.
So you just
There's
listen
a lot
to
of
it.
pulling weeds.
Yeah, right. So anyway, okay, yeah, I should read this. Owning vinyl is like having a beautiful painting hanging in your living room. It's something you can hold, pour over the lyrics, and immerse yourself in the artwork. Of course, the actual LP album is a much larger medium to work with as compared to a cassette and the CD. Of course, like that's kind of what we
do things to your mind.
Say what?
Yeah, you actually have a better psychological experience with an LP.
Yes, yes.
There's actual science behind it.
It's so much bigger. So
yes,
so
and that's it. Yep. I guess that's kind of that's what he's getting at in the next quote. I grew up with vinyl records and remember the pleasure and the kind of buzz that I got from buying a beautiful vinyl record with the sleeve and the lyrics, all that kind of tactile experience that you could get from an old vinyl record. And so like, obviously that's not what, like the vinyl part isn't what I relate to, but like, I remember doing that with the cassettes and CDs.
Absolutely.
Like that was my experience. I remember it very, very clearly because, before you had the internet, like what do you do besides sit there in your room and masturbate, right?
And there's a different experience from you listen to a record on you're listening to an album on online, but if you put an actual record on, you've got to put the needle onto the record, and it's an absolute pain to kind of go, and then you're fucking up your record if you're scratching it. So it becomes the object itself, the music, which is on this object, becomes a precious thing. You can damage something which you've worked really hard for, which you want to get something from. So you're investing emotion, other than just money, you're investing a part of yourself into it. It becomes like a symbiotic relationship between you as the listener and the artist trying to connect. And these days, the connection is much more difficult to get because there's less incentive for the artist to make the work, because it's so easy for the listener just to click next. So, and you've got to catch them.
It's all about that single.
Yeah, and you've got to catch them within the first 30 seconds. Sorry.
Go ahead,
just think about all the great B-side songs that wouldn't have been made now. Because there are so many songs that didn't get hardly any play or any recognition on these albums that are awesome.
Which,
the guy who runs Spotify, you know what his answer to artists not making enough money from Spotify?
I'd love to hear this.
You have to make more music. So it's just kind of like, I'm sorry, so it's just taken me the last 20 years to have the build up of life experience and heartbreak and all the different experiences that you have to have as a human being to make, and this is why music on the whole, one of the reasons why music on the whole these days isn't great. It's not the fact that I'm getting older. I am getting older, but it's not. There's no, people are just putting out so much stuff, and then it's like I quite liked Green Day for a while, but they've just brought out so many albums after, and just sort of every single one's like a photocopy of the last one, a photocopy of the one before, and it goes on and on. It just becomes weaker, and it doesn't evolve. I'm really passionate about kind of actually listening to a band changing and experimenting and doing it.
Exactly. I think we're on the same page with that one.
But sometimes you have those bands like AC/DC that, AC/DC. It sounds like AC/DC. A lot of the songs sound very similar, but they're also catchy.
Well,
fun.
That's true. But I think at a point, AC/DC just, I don't want to say sold out, but it all became about radio play and what they could get on the radio, or videos, of course. what they can get on for what any kind of artist could get for video. And I mean, that's all royalties that they got. And in this day and age in which MTV no longer play, I'm like blocking my MTV no longer even fucking plays music.
Yeah.
Videos.
Madness.
I would say they don't play music, but I guess sometimes they probably do.
Speaking of AC/DC, what's the singer's name?
Brian
Johnson?
Brian
Brian
Johnson.
From Newcastle.
I prefer Bon Scott. How about you guys?
You're probably asking the wrong person.
Out of the two, I'd say Brian Johnson, but because he's a Geordie. And my
Is that what it is?
My mom saw him before they were famous. In a pub gig in Newcastle, apparently, many moons ago.
A lot of their older stuff is, the Bon Scott era is bluesier, which I like that.
Okay. I mean, I guess I would, of the two, I probably prefer Brian Johnson because that was most of my experience with AC/DC was the later stuff.
Well, like Dirty Deeds, TNT, that's Bon Scott. That's Bon Scott.
Right, but I'm saying like Back in Black is the album from them I would prefer. And
speaking of LPs, I have that on vinyl somewhere.
Oh, something somewhere. Like
technically, my parents have it right now, but
gotcha. Okay, so if you're following along with me here, I just put out something. I did look at the Rolling Stone top 500 lists. I looked at a few other lists, and I tried to find some commonalities with like truly influential. And I think Rolling Stone's top 100 is full of unfortunately very politically motivated picks. But these are, I think, the ones I put on this one. I mean, you'll see a couple of them later on anyway. But I think these albums changed music. They definitely diverted the flow of what was being done, not only in music but like in the album as a medium. And
that's 9 Inch Nails right there, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
that is one I was excited to get home and pop in.
Well, that's good because that's it might come. There's some of these that might come up later.
That's the one Closer, right?
Yes, it is. So like Thriller. Thriller's the best-selling album of all time.
Yeah,
I had that on vinyl.
I've got that. I also have that on Gatefold vinyl.
I don't even think it was number 1. I think it was like number 15 or something ridiculous. I'm like, I mean, maybe top.
What?
But yeah, it was ridiculous. And, of course, Pet Sounds always gets mentioned as being very influential. Dark Side of the Moon does. Nirvana, of course. Ziggy Stardust. Like a lot of people mention OK Computer, Radiohead, Zeppelin 4, Kate Bush, Hounds of Love. Of course, you were saying, like, oh, never mind the bollocks. And you're like, yeah, I mean, because that kind of spawned its own genre, just like Nirvana did. We'll talk about that. Beatles, Revolver. I mean,
prefer Soundgarden though.
Say what?
Prefer Soundgarden to Nirvana, but I never would have found them without Nirvana.
Like Revolver is considered the first psychedelic album ever made. Led Zeppelin, historic.
Styx, that's a good one.
Old heavy metal in magazine article in the 60s. So like these are all these foundational albums, of course, like A Night at the Opera. You probably would familiar. Sgt. Pepper's sort of goes without saying.
Would anybody have like these days have
say what?
I'm just thinking, would anybody these days have like that's my favorite download? Do you know what I mean? I've got my one favorite. It's not an album. It's a single, and it's really precious to me. I've got Stairway to Heaven on 7-inch vinyl, and the reason why it's so precious to me is it was never released as a single, and I have it on single because it was from a jukebox. It was with Whole Lot of Love on the other side, and I bought it for 20p, 20 pence from the school sort of car boot sale.
Wow.
So, but I don't think you would now go, oh my God, I've got this download. It's unbelievable. It just wouldn't happen.
No, and like if
That's
I were to
usually
ask,
a YouTube video now.
okay, so I have a son who's 18 and he's not in the house at the moment, but I would love to do the experiment. When you were 18, guys, did you have like, could you have named a favorite album, like at least top 3?
Yeah.
When you were 18,
Absolutely, straight away.
Yeah.
My son has great taste in music, but because of how he's consumed it in our culture, there's no way there's zero chance he has a favorite album.
I would, with my best friend at school, we would have arguments. Basically, Nirvana and Pearl Jam. I was like, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Nirvana. It would be like from proper. No, but Kurt's obviously the best singer. No, Eddie Vedder, and it would go on. So we were passionate about these people who we had no idea about. These were gods to us,
right?
No, but now all these artists are so relatable.
Yeah.
Found it.
What you found?
Owner of a Lonely Heart.
Yes.
Owner of a lonely heart.
They remember they played that almost every time on that Friday music video stuff.
Oh, really? That's
See, would Beavis and Butthead work even these days?
That's a prog album, Jeffrey. Didn't know you could handle that.
It was the early 80s. I was still learning.
Okay. Right.
Nice.
The Fleetwood Mac. I'm gonna go ahead and just throw myself under the bus right now, but like I've never been a fan. But dude, people freaking love that album.
Yeah.
Like
I'm having trouble even thinking of a Fleetwood Mac song.
I know the Landslide, the one that Smashing Pumpkins covered. Like I know what Rihanna's on there. I know that's the one I know, I think, besides Landslide. I mean, they're good songs. Like
I'm sure I'd recognize if I heard it. But.
Yeah.
Rhiannon, not Rihanna. What's my thing? Rhiannon.
Umbrella.
Yeah, right.
Ella, something like that.
So yeah, speaking of the degradation of music, it's just her saying umbrella, Ella like 30 times. It's the whole song.
And yeah,
not to say I don't mind watching the video, because man, that song is it's trash.
Shine bright like a diamond. Diamonds don't shine; they refract
Shine
light.
bright,
It's just
diamond.
incorrect.
Actually, there's a band that I follow and I really, really love called Steam Powered Giraffe. Stu, I think you recently discovered them with Honey.
Great. I do love Steam.
Yeah, they do a cover of that song, and it's far better than the original, like leaps and bounds. I love it.
They're very clever. They're very clever.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good, and fronted by twins, and one of them is trans and living the life. That's pretty cool. Because you watch the video for Honeybee, it's like, no, that's the same person. It's the same person. Anyway, so yeah, are you guys ready?
Yeah,
Are you ready for it? We've had all this build up, so let's roll down the hill with our.
Are you ready?
Number 5.
Ooh.
I'll let you guys go ahead and go. So, Jeffrey, your number 5. Never mind. By Nirvana.
I have notes. Make sure I don't fire.
Oh, you make notes?
Yeah, I make notes.
I'm serious.
I have a memory issues.
Oh, there's that.
I just recently got my drum set, maybe that year, maybe the year before. And so
can you do the boom 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 boom? Can you do it?
Probably.
I've never been able to achieve that.
Oh, by the way, Jeff, I don't know if speaking of your drum set and you guys playing music, Roman, the guy that remixed some of our old shows, he and Stu put out a song. It's on YouTube and Spotify, right?
It is, yes.
It's really damn good.
I think I saw that one. Yeah, I think I saw that one.
Stitch your eyes.
I'm mightily impressed. I'm proud of you guys. You guys should do something more.
It would be nice if we could do something more in the future. But it's one of those songs which separates opinion. But,
is it?
Yeah. Some people hate it and some people really like it.
Wait, Stu, who hates it?
People who seem to really like Hadrian's Union. But you're screaming it's really heavy.
It's rock and roll. I mean, are they going to be prepared for this new album?
Well, it's getting more radio play than the last one did already.
I was saying, like it seems to be a little bit more.
Cool.
I think it's a bit more. It's a little less folky.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I like folk music though, so
it's a little less folk.
it's a little less folky. It's still definitely.
Ridiculous.
It's we can still play within that field, but
Yes.
yeah, we've just got different balls now.
You're just evolving, man.
Different
exactly.
balls. What?
Wait, what? So but it's in a different field, but we've got different balls. That's all it is. It's the same game.
I try to keep the same balls.
I would say, like, are we mixing metaphors?
We are mixing metaphors massively, ridiculously. So, anyways, I jumped on top of Nirvana's Nevermind with Jeff's number 5. Then, I'm sorry.
No worries.
I'm gonna say, yeah. You guys both chose it, though. You have it in different rankings. So, Jeffrey,
I just got my drum set.
91.
Wait. I just got my drum set, and I actually, that was the first album where I learned to play every song.
Was this 1991 or 92?
I don't remember, but it really helped me develop my skills. You know, it wasn't too hard. The drumming in it is harder.
What
than
are you
basic.
calling Dave Grohl not a good drummer?
No, he's good, but it's
So,
more than basic, but it's not like really, really complicated.
But that's what I like about it.
Yeah, it's just it sounds almost standard, but better. It's not just a 4 on the floor.
No.
You know, there's a lot more to it.
So what else besides the drumming, did anything else about that album speak to you? Did you sit in your room and like pour through the lyric booklet, or?
Well, you kind of have to with Nirvana.
Because it's I don't. This is your number 5, then. It's a different number for me, and I still want to talk about it. But you,
okay.
No, it's okay. It's just the lyrics were a little hard to suss out on a lot of the songs, at least in my opinion. So you kind of have to have that.
Okay, so Jeffrey or Stu, you can at least tell me this. I've never owned this album. I think I have their like greatest hits album or whatever, but
you can't. On the version we've got here, you can't read the lyrics on their album because you open it and it's basically the way the designers put the lyrics on the thing. It goes from the first song up into the last song, and it's a wavy line to go with the waves on the design.
Yeah,
and it's basically every single word from the song with no stops. So it's impossible to follow. It's not impossible, but it's really quite difficult.
Gave you a bit more of an idea what the hell you were saying.
But it gave you more of an idea. But it wasn't like these are the words and this is. And I really, as part of that artwork, as well as it's that whole experience. It's not just listen to this thing and move along. But when you buy like a pulp record, Jarvis has specifically said, he puts in the thing, do not read the lyrics while listening to the music.
You say pulp?
Pulp.
I love pulp. Yeah, I love pulp.
Oh, damn it. I want to change one of these things now and I can't.
Look what you've done.
Destructive exuberance.
Oh no.
Did you break it?
No, I didn't. Oh, the clip's falling off. Look.
Okay. That's just self-portrait.
It's a self-portrait. Yes. Carry on.
Jeff his head. Now you really do look like John Goodman in Big Lebowski.
Got the huge
Jesus
forehead.
Christ, man. I feel like you should be like doing one of those celebrity impression businesses. You could be the John Goodman.
I used to do impressions. I just haven't done it in a long time.
All right, well, he's got a pretty distinctive voice. It's going to be hard to mimic.
I never did him though, but no, distinctive voices are easier to mimic.
I'd do John Goodman.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. I was waiting for it. Okay, so besides "Smells Like Teen Spirit," what other tracks are from that album that people would know?
Lithium. Polly.
I don't know that one as well.
Come As You Are.
Come As You Are, Underneath the Bridge. I always like Territorial Pissing, but a lot of people probably don't know that one. I'm sure there's more, but
the whole thing is in bloom.
yes.
Yeah, I think I actually like that one.
And the original Dave Grohl put down the original drum beat on In Bloom was from Chad Channing, one of Nirvana's original drummers. They went through an awful lot of drummers before they got to Dave, and when they went into the Hall of Fame, Dave gave a thumbs up and a thank you to Chad Channing for that drum beat. He said he just basically, from their record, he didn't change it. He just went, "That's really good. I'm going to keep that." So give Dave his props. He is the nice guy of rock and roll.
Well, that makes sense because that was a simpler drum beat than a lot of the other songs. It was just
absolutely. Yeah, it's quite an easy thing. So, but Smells Like Teen Spirit, the intro, the drum intro on Smells Like Teen Spirit is just wild. I've never figured out how to do it. But I'm not specifically drummer, I just drum for therapy.
All right, so Jeffrey, your influence is the drumming of that album.
Well, I liked the music too,
man.
obviously.
That's like that was the year 91, man, is when the world of music changed and we got grunge.
But it really helped me, like I said, really helped me lock down the drumming, the playing the set. So I will be forever grateful to that album.
Cool. All right, Stu, go ahead and do your 1987 Michael Jackson classic. Bad.
Yeah.
Oh, bad.
Well, it was everywhere, wasn't it? The Bard was everywhere. People,
like, I do have distinct memories of that one.
Who did not want that? Well, I wanted the jacket.
I must say I watched the Weird Al version more though.
It was. I mean, I'm Fat was good. It was good. It was very good. It is good. So, but pretty much everything that we heard is astonishing. But every single song that's for me in the list of what we're doing here with the albums is that it has to be all killer and no filler for me for it to be a consistent good album. In Bad, there's not one bad track on it. Hey.
Yeah, and that's the other thing when because Stu and I were parsing this out via text a couple of weeks ago, and we said it's like which albums, like I have other albums that are my favorites probably. Like I mean some of these are my favorites, but like which ones like rewired your DNA? And I guess that's at the heart of it. So in what ways, Stu, did Bad rewire your brain?
It made me, because I'd started writing poetry by then, but I didn't know how to write a song by that point.
At the ripe old age of 9?
Yeah, I started writing poetry when I was about 8.
Okay.
I started writing poetry young too.
Very good.
Yeah. Yeah, same here. I started writing poetry pretty young too. Like same here. It wasn't very good.
I mean, I think I did some, but I don't know if I'm.
But I
will be right back. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys keep going.
Okay, we're going.
Yeah, but one of my favorites poets, Arthur Rimbaud, finished all of his poetry before he was 21. So and then he stopped. But anyway, so I think what happened with Bard and it made me want to write melodies and catchy melodies that people could sing along to. Sorry?
How old were you when you wrote your first song?
13. Yeah, I think I was 13 when I wrote my first song. No, I was not. I was younger. I was God, it was bad. I was 11 when I wrote my first song, and it was the first year of high school, and with a friend, Scott Thompson, and we did the Tyneside rap. The first song which I can remember writing was a rap song, and it went something like, "We're the Tyneside rappers from Tyne and Weir, and we can rap on this stage here. We run, you walk, we rap, you talk." You know, it was terrible.
That's great. I don't know it's actually sad. Like, I'm sure it's better than a lot of stuff you'd hear on the radio.
So it's about, and yeah, I wish I could. There was a video when we made a video. There was a teacher from school who helped us make a music video. Had fades and everything. I thought it was the best thing since I was in sliced bread. It was good. It was.
All right, what are your favorite tracks from Bad?
Man in the Mirror is the number one track.
Okay, wait. Also, another question because Moonwalker.
Yeah.
It's called a Moonraker.
Smooth Criminal.
Moonwalker came out right about then too, and dude, like I have such distinctive memories of watching that Michael Jackson movie, and I wish I could find it on DVD or like Blu-ray.
What? You can't find it?
No, you can't find it, which is why I would watch it with my kids.
It's
like
awesome.
Michael Jackson too, and like of course it's not like a movie. There are some scenes. It has like Joe Pesci in it. And
that's what I really liked about it, though. There was it was like a movie, but I remember going to see it at the cinema.
Yeah,
and with my auntie. I think it was a
Moon-
birthday treat or a
Moonwalker?
Christmas treat.
Moonraker?
yeah, Moonwalker.
Moonraker.
Moonraker's like a James Bond.
That's what I said, Moonraker.
Different sort of danger. And it was, but yeah, Moonwalker and Smooth Criminal, and it made me want to dance. It really, really made me want to be able to, made me want to
I
dance
do like
like
Smooth Criminal.
that. Yeah, I mean,
No, like that's the thing, Stu. You're right on the money, man. Like every single, I like Thriller. Like Thriller's got some really good songs. It does, but like I think as like a piece of work, I think Bad is the better album because it's single after single. Like everything is listenable.
and the videos which came from it as well were just phenomenal. It's really
Like,
Speed Demon. Oh, what a video!
Speed
Speed
Demon,
Demon's fantastic.
Also on Moonwalker.
Yeah.
Leave Me Alone. Also on like all that stuff's on. Like,
That video was weird.
It's got this whole surreal Salvador Dali kind of vibe going on, and I kind of
Or Who Framed Roger Rabbit a little bit.
It did, absolutely. Because
Although this was I think what came out like before Roger Rabbit. Like, I mean, it came out in '88. I think that they both came out in '88.
Whenever I think of that video, I also think of like Peter Gabriel's videos.
Hammer.
Hammer.
It's the one.
And the one where they're shaking the baby tree.
Is it not
Don't shake the babies, Jeff.
Don't
the baby tree.
You're gonna get us YouTube banned.
It basically the whole video looks like they're having sex, and they pull out at the end, and they're shaking this tree with the babies on it, and they catch one.
What the other thing
was
this? Sorry,
I've
Huh?
never seen this.
Really?
No.
They're like, shows them from about here up, and they're like, oh.
And I like Peter Gabriel stuff. That's no, I'm not. I
So
don't
do
know
I.
if I've ever seen any of his. I've seen, I think, Don't Give Up with Kate Bush, but that's like the only one. Maybe.
I'll have to try to find it.
and the
Okay.
thing, when we didn't have the internet and we had these albums, and we were I was discovering a world beyond my world, and I had never.
No.
Don't you dare close your eyes.
We've already done soundtracks, Jeffrey.
This music was introducing me to things from I'd never heard of Liberia before, and so I was going, why is he singing about a librarian? But librarian girl, and I was just like, so the whole misheard lyrics thing, and you couldn't go on the internet to go and look up what the lyrics were for a thing, and
Speaking of, like, I used to hate that. Like, I hated when artists would not include the lyrics in their lines.
Agreed.
Hated
Yes.
it.
But I quite, in retrospect, I quite like the fact that I've got to unpick something in my brain, or the fact that I'll still hear something, and it'll still be the misheard lyric. There's a part of me which kind of go, that's really quite good fun.
I know, like my wife makes fun of me because like there's that it's from the movie Flashdance. Like, I'm a maniac, and like for years I said she was making fun of me. Like the first couple of years that we got married, but I always thought it was Maniac on the phone.
Floor. Isn't it floor? I'm a maniac on the floor. And I'm dancing like I never danced before.
Yeah, that's the one. And I prefer Maniac on the phone. That's much easier.
This sounds like you called up somebody just to yell at them.
Like, heavy breathing. Something like that. All right, gentlemen, are you ready for mine?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, so it's Anathema.
I don't know if I understand this one.
Weather systems.
I actually listened to every album that you guys said last night.
Even Jive.
And you were like, that's bullshit. This album came out in 2012, and I had very distinct memories of this. I moved to Florida with my family in 2010, but for some reason, I've always associated this album with the move, like just sort of like getting used to it and just like I listened to this album on repeat. Like this was literally the only album I listened to for months and months and months. And like it represents a time of the move, like changing jobs and
Athena.
Yeah, it's when my daughter was really young, and I love this album so much, and obviously it's like this is a nice crisp because it's a recent enough album. This is the only recent album I actually included on here.
I've never heard of it.
12 isn't that recent, but like this, I probably only opened that lyric book like once, sadly. But yeah, like I watched their videos and I listen to their stuff on my laptop or my phone or whatever all the time. But it's sad because, Stu, you can attest to this. Like the pandemic has just fucked things up so badly. Like this is one of my top, I would put them in my top 3 or 4 favorite bands ever. And the pandemic has made them defunct. Like they had to go get jobs because there's nobody making music right now. No, there's nobody. I mean, you can't tour like musicians make money by touring.
Yeah, and especially now.
Which makes me think there's a great project for anybody who's listening, who's interested. There's a project called Don't Stop the Music, which is really good. Basically, there's a website out there, and I could send links at some point. And they've included a little bit of my story in the book, and many other musicians and people behind the scenes like sound engineers and stage lighting guys, and they've all sent their stories in, and basically people can buy the book or the merchandise from the website, and that money goes not directly, but for people who are struggling to eat, musicians who are struggling to get by, and everybody from behind the scenes, everybody who's part of the music world who needs help. The money's going to those people who really need the help. So yeah, Don't Stop the Music.
That's cool. So like you said
.com.co.uk. What is that?
I'll find out.
Okay.
So you look. I'll keep talking. Anyway, so like there's not a single, like you said, Stu. There's not a single song on this album that I don't love. This is the backside of it. Those are the tracks. This is great artwork too. That's another thing. Like we talk about artwork for these albums. Like artwork isn't just covers. It's the whole thing, and like it's full of photographs, and like you look at the inform. Like I used to love looking at this stuff to see what kind of like little Easter eggy kind of things I would find in the recording of an album, like who may have guest played bass or something on a track or whatever, or who produced it, who mixed it, who arranged the symphony, whatever. So Jeffrey, you said you listened to this one.
Mm-hmm.
How did you like?
Most of your albums seem like good chill out albums. Just sit back, relax, chill.
Stick it in the chat.
I would say that my number one probably is like, maybe go kill some people, but like in a serial killer kind of way, because that's what the album's about. But we'll wait for that.
There were extreme. Sorry. Never mind. We'll get to that later.
Oh, okay. Oh, there it is.
We can see it.
We can see it. I've put you a link there, and it's Don't Stop the Music.store. Blah 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 blah.
Rewind. It was there.
What? It's here. I have it up.
You got it?
Well, it was up on the recording for a little bit. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Can you see that?
So,
Anyway.
wait, you bring it back up. Yeah.
What?
You guys can't see it?
See what?
I'm bringing it up on my chat, but
Yeah.
Okay. So if Jeff brought it up on his, if you brought it up on yours, that chat, it should show up on your recording.
Oh, chat one.
Can you see that?
There we go.
Excellent.
There it is.
There you go. Wonderful.
Okay, cool. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one,
Wunderbar.
guys.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, Jeffrey, you're up. 1991's Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
Give it away now. Come on.
Give it away now. I feel like I need to take off
What I gotta do? Gotta put it in you.
It's like Anthony Kiedis and those guys. Like, this was the area in which they only performed with like a tube sock around their junk.
It was funny.
There's actually like most of the songs from this. There's a couple really dirty ones too.
This is also the era, and like shortly before this, Flea was in quite a few movies.
He's a good actor.
Needles.
Yeah, Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
But once again, it's around the same time I got my drum set, and this is like the second album where I learned to play every song, and it really helped me develop more of the funk.
Is incredible, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna say like that's I'm sure the drumming on that.
Chad Smith.
And Chad, he's a Michigan guy too. So like,
yes, it really helped me with my funk drumming, and our friend Andy also really liked Red Hot Chili Peppers, and we bought like every other album and then like made copies for each other, like you did back then.
Oh yeah, like you did back in the day.
It was the beginning of the end. Pirating.
Yeah, right.
Arr, arr.
Yeah, some of we're like devoted lifelong fans or something.
The funny thing is, Metallica hates pirating. But but when they were doing their tour for I think it was Kill 'Em All, maybe it was something about there's one before that, something leather, I don't know, but anyways, enough people had copied their albums, like the few people that went to their show and bought it, they copied it for their friends because they loved Metallica so much. Like, dude, you gotta listen to this album. Here's a copy. By the time they got back to California, they were already starting to get famous, and their stuff was being played on the radio because of piracy.
Yeah.
Piracy launched their career.
I mean, that's the thing. Like when they're selling albums, they're making record execs rich, whereas if they're touring, they have them. That's the money they make for themselves. Sometimes.
So the secret is get famous without the record companies. If it's all.
I mean, like now you might be able to do it. That isn't how Declan. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Declan McKenna, but. All right, Stu, you know Declan McKenna, right?
I know Declan Donnelly.
It's like, he's my neighbor, 3 streets down. No, not Declan McConnelly, Declan McKenna. He's a UK artist.
Oh,
he's actually pretty big.
I thought, baby,
by just like releasing albums to the public, and eventually he got noticed and picked up because the stuff's pretty decent. And like I'm not going to say he's like One Direction caliber or anything like that, but he's gotten to have quite a following. So, Stu, I need you to just look around the magazine stands next time you're out, maybe, and he probably would be on a cover as he's gotten there. All right, Jeffrey, favorite tracks, Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
Go on. I often don't know the names to songs.
I
mean, this is Under the Bridge, right?
Give me a second.
Give it away.
Go on to the next one. We'll swing back around.
What I gotta get put it in.
Okay. Wait. So that's me. Hey guys, the year was 1999. It says 1998, but. It was like the internet was a thing. It was a thing. This is like 3 years after Al Gore invented it. There was a chain. Okay, this is the this is the keyboardist from a band called Dream Theater.
Yes.
And Jeff can probably attest to this. I used to be obsessed with Dream Theater in high school.
Just a touch.
just a touch. And in fact, like I think in our high school yearbook, there's a picture of me in my Dream Theater shirt. So thank you very much.
That is the band. The guitarist got extremely long hair and he does the windmill thing.
Oh well, I mean, come on, that's rock and roll, dude.
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't do that? So he left the band because they just wanted to play shitty music, and little did I know back then. Like I was reading some of his stuff, like the news about that you could find on the internet, and it said that he was going to go make his own records. And so I'm like, oh, cool. You either had to mail order it, and being like, oh God, 98. I mean, I was 20. Like I may have had I might have. I don't even think I had a debit card at that point. Like I couldn't order anything without a debit card or a credit card. So the only other way you could buy this album is to go to a Borders Books and Music. Stu, did you ever have those in the UK?
No. Oh, Borders.
Borders.
Yes, it flopped.
Yes, they no longer exist. And the funny thing is, they're based out of Michigan, but there are no Borders anywhere near where we grew up. So I actually spent a few months in Charlotte, North Carolina, and right before I left town, the last time I stopped at the Borders near the university there. I think
you went hunting.
Yes, and I'm like, I have to go. Like it was so far out of the way in Charlotte to get to, but I'm like, I'm going to Borders, and I'm looking for that album. And of course, you buy this stuff without having heard anything. This is not something you would hear on a radio. And so I got back, and then I remember listening to it. I'm like my brain exploded. And it was right, like I said, it was right before I drove back to Michigan.
Yeah.
And I just remember listening to this album over and over and over again, like at level 10 obsession. And he's continued to make albums under Chroma Key and makes music on. He actually makes music on Patreon, and he's very JD Salinger-ish apparently. He doesn't tour. He made some albums called OSI, like the band name, with a guy from Fate's Warning, and like that music's phenomenal. I love it. And like I remember giving like this girl I was talking to back then, like I remember giving her to see like this is my brain on CD, and like I gave her a copy of the CD, and
then she dumped you.
See what? And then she dumped me. Yeah, that's it. I wish. Anyway, no. Like I just remember like it completely changed what I thought music had to be, because he was just doing it for himself, and he still does. Like he makes it on Patreon under Chroma Key to this day. But like I said, he's kind of like a bit of a hermit.
Does he make it live on Patreon?
Say what?
Does he make it live?
No, he does not make it. There's too much production than going in, I think, to be live. But I'm actually going to explain why I think he doesn't do much of that. So I remember hearing like little bits of news over the last 10 or 15 years, like he was going to med school or something.
Right.
So I only recently found out that he's actually now a practicing psychiatrist in North Dakota.
Cool.
Yeah. So this is really just his side gig, his side hustle. And like it's funny because
it's pretty cool though. It's pretty cool.
It is. And you talk about making money as an artist. Maybe Stu, this is a model you can use, but
become a psychiatrist.
Yeah, on Patreon, what he did is like if I can get people to commit to at least $3,000 every time I drop a song, if I can make $3,000, I'll make new music. And so like he got it within the matter of a week or so. Wow. People committing on Patreon. So like every time he's dropping a new song, it's $3,000 like that. Oh. So like I mean, I know I committed $10 per song. So basically I'm paying like an album worth of stuff per song. But maybe I helped put him through medical school. Or
I need to get on top of Patreon. I've noticed
maybe you should, man. Making the dough.
I need that. And yes, things are getting a little bit tight.
Okay, well, you know what? Patreon. Okay, so Stu, you said you listened to this. You said you liked it.
Yeah, no, I started listening to it. It was good.
But...
It was really good. I was So I've not got to the end of it yet because I've had a busy day. I did
Well,
this at the supermarket.
he also was singing with auto tune like long before anybody else. Because like this is 1998, he's singing with auto tune, which was a pretty new technology back then.
Him and Cher.
Yes, he
Yeah,
believed.
a little bit of Cher.
He believed before Cher did.
No, like I love that the synthesized sort of voice. You know, not quite like speaking of Anathema.
It's a funny
Anathema.
thing with there's not a lot of musicians who I really like it, and my new guitarist in Hadrian Jr. He's a big fan of the auto tune, not because it auto tunes the voice, but I just like that effect. It's
I like
kind
it. If it's done well, absolutely.
As long as it's making up for, as long as it's not making up for a person who can't carry a tune.
Right.
It's like Cher can sing, like Cher can really sing, but she used it to a good effect. If somebody sucks, then I think you can hear through an auto tune that person still sucks.
God, some of the auto tune poppy rap music, it's terrible. Get off my lawn.
I can't even. Yeah, get off my lawn. Yeah, so like I love all these songs. Like I still listen to this album quite a bit. It's one of those songs. It's like, you know, it's just 22 years old now, and I've had it for almost 20 years, and it just endures. I love it, and I plan to listen to it forever. Good song. Like I love all these songs. Like you probably heard Stu, like Color. Like you said, Jeff, you listen Colorblind. Colorblind's one of my favorites. I love SOS, and then Mouse is also one of my. Actually, in university, I translated. This is my level of nerdness, but I actually translated lyrics, talking about like time with lyrics and these liner sheets. This one's much more worn, and it's because I used to translate these lyrics into Latin.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mikey, you can translate Spanish. Speak Spanish. Translate it.
Oh, jeez.
Goonies deep cut.
That hit me.
Nice.
That just hit me for a second. Wait a minute. That sounds awfully familiar.
All right. Stu. Iron Maiden. Wait. Sorry.
Wait, we got to circle back around.
Oh, we're circling back now. Okay.
So could you guys hear the click, 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 click as I was typing?
No.
All right, good. Because that would have been annoying. Yeah, I just like all of these. Power of Equality, which was, you know, song about equality, which was nice. Back in 91 or whenever.
You do that when I do what you did before.
I'm looking at the track list.
Oh. Okay. Let me see. People Suck My Kiss, they actually did a video for that one, so people might know that one. Give It Away.
They really have 17 tracks.
Yeah. Under the Bridge. I don't know if people would know Naked in the Rain.
Naked with the tube sock in the rain.
Apache Rose Peacock is one of those ones that's, you know, a little dirty. Sir Psycho Sexy. That's another one. Their Red Hot is this weird kind of almost retro sounding, like really retro sounding. Because it's originally it's a remake of a song from 1936. So.
Oh really?
Yeah. See what was the one? Naked in the Rain. That's actually my favorite one that was actually my favorite one to play on drum set.
Where we lost our Stu. Where'd he go?
Drain the Lizard.
Probably. Well,
okay. Yeah, I love every song on, you know, like they're saying, you know, a song, album without a bad song, that counts for me.
Oh, okay. All right, Stu, Iron Maiden 82, Number of the Beast.
Oh, what can I say about this? But two favorite songs, just going straight in there. Prisoner, great tune. But that introduced me to the idea of that the world of film or movies and TV can
It's
also
okay.
be
We like hearing you say film.
film. It's very Geordie. Basically, Geordies and Irish, we put the U in there. Film. That you can incorporate that into a soundtrack, into a song, and it sort of takes you under some sort of like journey in your imagination. So all of a sudden, because there's something, and I had no context for the
How
Prisoner
old were
TV
you when you
show.
listened to this? Because obviously you didn't listen when you were 4. How old were you when you discovered this?
I discovered that, yeah. So probably this was my problem into sort of what I thought was heavy metal. Probably when I was about 9, around 8 or 9 years old.
Nice.
So before, sort of the gateway drug to Iron Maiden was
Did it
Bon
make you
Jovi.
really popular in Catholic school?
Jovi.
Exactly, no, but definitely wasn't popular in Catholic school. And I remember it was one of the first drawings that I was ever proud of in high school. Was I drew the album cover, so I copied the album cover from, and I was like, that looks like Eddie, and I've drawn the devil. So being and I didn't get told off for it or anything, but so I felt very daring and very dangerous by just copying the album publicly in the middle of an art class. And the teachers seemed to quite like it. A nice thing. But yeah,
They probably thought it was what was that, Bosch? Like,
Hieronymus Bosch.
Hieronymus
yeah,
Bosch.
they
Yeah,
probably thought it was
absolutely.
something from him, and they're like,
Sure,
"Oh yes,
yeah.
show those
Well,
sinners
well,
suffering."
It is quite biblical. So I guess in that sense, it would make sort of, it probably subliminally attracted me from the thing, the Catholicism which I grew up with, and the sort of that imagery and all that, and sort of just the ideas behind that. But musically, it just felt so different to all the, because the first things that I was really into, we're probably going to come with this into the mentions later on. The first album which I was ever given was Jive Bunny and the Master Mixers, which I'm assuming wasn't big in the States at all. But basically, so there's this guy who just mashed up all these old songs, everything from Glenn Miller to Gary Glitter, and everything in between. And it was just, so that was my first introduction to a whole bunch of different music from around the world. So I went through that to the Beach Boys. My mom liked ABBA, my dad liked Elvis, and so it was all very, very sort of pop household, with a little bit of Dean Martin, but that was a little bit later on. So everything that came to the house was generally very like middle of the road culture. So nothing at all adventurous whatsoever. So music was like an aside to my parents. It wasn't important to them, but it was there.
Isn't that perplexing how like so many people are like I don't get it, Stu. I'm obsessed with you. Like I just showed part of my walls here. It's just like it's covered with like music, memorabilia, and like I mean that's my thing more than anything. I mean I would give up nerddom for
Absolutely, yeah.
music, and
I have
don't
like
get how
20 or
others don't.
30 Pandora channels that I've made and curated them to the point where it plays almost all the stuff I like
Yeah,
from those particular genres.
I mean, my love of albums has affected my entire life. Literally, my finances, the way that I dress, my thinking, my friendships, my relationships, arguments that I have with my partner, the whole everything that I've done and have aimed to do. I mean, I am an artist at the end of the day, but my main drive and my main thing is music. And if it hadn't been for Iron Maiden, that was kind of my first step into something which was just a little bit darker and a little bit, quite a lot heavier, really. So I felt this album made me feel dangerous. It made me feel that I was something I shouldn't be listening to.
You were doing something naughty.
I was doing something naughty, and the priest probably wouldn't approve. And that was exciting.
You're like, that's not the only thing.
No, it's definitely not the only thing. But it was probably and the devil was involved, and he see. They were right all along.
You said something about a mashup. There is a mashup. I can't remember which Iron Maiden song, but there is a mashup between an Iron Maiden song and Beat It.
Really?
I would listen to that.
I sent it to you a while ago. And you did like it.
And
Oh,
isn't
and I
that-
listened to that and liked it.
and you know, I think the irony finding out that these Michael Jackson versus Iron Maiden, for example, who in good and evil and all those concepts, which one is now seen as good and which one is now seen as evil within the eyes of the public. I think it's a contentious issue, but at the same time, it's very, very interesting that it's sort of, yeah.
Well, a lot of people back then thought that all heavy metal, all metal music was the devil, was evil.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, oh man, that song "Creeping Death" by Metallica, yeah, it's pure devil worship. It's about the Passover. It's about the Passover.
But metal.
Creeping Death is about the Passover.
Is it really?
Yes.
Excellent.
But I used to play it for people and they'd be like, "Ooh, devil music." It's like, yeah, sure, okay. Might want to listen to those lyrics.
Yeah, if you listen to Run to the Hills as well, from Nature of the Beast, it's this really interesting take on raping and pillaging and history. It's like it's the history of
brigandage.
Yes. Yeah, well, I think it's the English coming to your land and doing bad things to the natives. Or was it the Spanish?
We all did. I mean, everybody did.
Group that's happening.
Yeah. So
that's history.
One of the lines it was raping the women and killing the men, raping the women and killing the men. The only good Indian to tame. Selling them whiskey and taking their gold, destroying the young and enslaving the old. Run to the hills.
He's got it, man. Look at that.
I've never heard that song, but a lot of people probably.
That's like the only Iron Maiden song I know is "Run to the Hills."
But
Jeff, people probably love the drums.
People thought they were probably glorifying that. You know.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, and it's actually them just telling the story about it.
What's that guy, Jonathan Swift?
Gulliver's Travels.
No, okay, I might be wrong. Who's the guy Swift? Who's the one who said the Irish people should eat their children?
Modest Proposal. Yeah, that's it. That's how this one.
Yeah, it's like that was a satire, right?
Your satire. That's what I'm talking about.
Monty Python's Life of Brian.
All right, Stu. Dropping into the number 3s to keep us going. Otherwise, we'll be here all night. 1987.
Yep, should we speed it up a bit, I guess?
I like this
Appetite for Destruction. Absolutely all killer, no filler. It's absolutely fantastic all the way through.
Favorite tracks go.
Favorite track. Oh, it's so easy. First time I heard the word motherfucker on a record, absolutely.
It's so easy. Mr. Brownstone.
Yeah.
Well, that's your favorite track.
Mr. Brownstone. But that's not my favorite track. But it's so easy. It's so easy. It's definitely my favorite track on that album. So, and it's
Turn
one of the
around,
big ones like
got a use for you. Besides, you ain't got nothing better to do, and I'm bored. It's like,
why don't you just fuck off?
I don't.
So, but it brings out that kind of excitement and rage and sort of. There's a world in LA which I've would just never dreamed of, and there's these men doing drugs and having sex and just living wild lives.
Doing what?
It's had this all that kind of like mad glamour and just.
Yeah, everybody knows "Welcome to the Jungle" and "Paradise City," but those are not the best songs on that album.
Sweet Child of Mine, and everybody. It's this sort of iconic rock songs which ended up on things like Guitar Hero, and the good songs. I mean, everybody knows them. It's part of lexicon of Western culture.
I'd say the weakest song on the album is probably "Rocket Queen."
Still a good song though.
It's still a good song. Still a damn good song, but.
Yeah, but I was listening to it yesterday while working out, and it was like it's a really great album for working out too.
Oh yeah, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC, Metallica, all good workout stuff.
So what you're saying is mullet rock?
Mullet rock, yes. There wasn't a lot of mullet going on, and even though Steve Adler kind of had a bit of the drummer had a bit of mullet going on, but he was on heroin, so he didn't know any better.
There's that.
I'm just on CBD and Kava.
Nice.
Oh. Are you allowed to say that? Will we get Facebook, please, or Facebook?
CBD is legal. Kava's legal.
Okay, then we're good. So Stu, anything else? Like I feel left out because you guys are singing along the Appetite for Destruction.
It's interesting that there's actually links between the people in the bands and the stuff which I've liked totally by accident. Like Kurt and Axel had a head-to-head very, very publicly.
Because they went on tour together, and Axel is a prima donna.
Absolutely.
Big time.
But he ended up but he was really supportive of Nirvana to begin with. I mean, there's photographs of him on the internet wearing Nirvana hats and but then he went up to Courtney to Kurt while he was with Courtney, and he said, "Can you calm your bitch down?" or something along those lines. And Kurt was like, "I'm not." So yeah, give due to Kurt. He protected his woman.
Kicked him in the balls. He should have kicked him in the balls and said, "Bitch has been calmed down."
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds about right. Okay.
Yeah, so
see, while we were listening to Guns N' Roses, he was still into like the God music stuff, like over here.
But then,
not even that. I think like okay, first of all, that stuff was never in my house because my mom, because I grew up in a single parent home, and like having secular music was bad.
It has a crucifix on the cover.
Yeah, with skulls. Yeah. Okay, like that's Satan. All right.
There were a lot of churches in France and stuff with skulls all over the place.
Well, that's also something that wasn't exactly known. Anyway, so yeah, I never, like, you guys are singing along, and I've only ever heard the hits. So I feel like maybe I need to go through and listen to Appetite for Destruction.
Yeah, it's so easy, Mr.
Brownstone. It's full width and breadth of meaning. All right, so I'm because we do need to keep moving, otherwise I'm going to starve to death. I know, fat man here starving to death, but
we might. Hey, we might both go into ketosis. That'll be good for us.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a lot harder than you think.
This is 1990, so. This album is the first album that I just like. It was my brother's tape cassette that he had, and I remember just going through that because it was one of those cassettes that was like packed tightly because there were so many liner notes, and I remember being super fascinated by that. So like one day when he was gone or whatever, he was messing, I was messing with his tapes and like listening to them or whatever, and I popped this one in, and at the age of 11, not quite 12, my brain exploded like from the first time. As far as King's X goes, unfortunately, Stu never heard of King's X until the other day, which makes me sad because
I recognized it once I started listening to it, because I'd be over at your house and you'd be, making me listen to this stuff, and I'd be like, it's okay. And then I'd be like, Metallica, and you'd be like, it's okay.
So they're talking about members of Soundgarden and
Chris Cornell, yeah.
And Pearl Jam actually, in a number of these other early grunge groups, actually credit King's X with inventing or popularizing that kind of sound.
Oh, really?
So they actually...
My wife can't wait for grunge to come back. I mean, she did like the music, but she just wants to be able to dress in comfortable flannels again.
That sounds about right.
Just tell them.
So this is actually this is like a biography of the band King's X. And on the back it said, okay, I'm going to read you some of the quotes on the back about King's X because they do not get their due, and it pisses me off that I'm going to talk about the album. Cool. I think they're easily one of the best rock trios anywhere. I don't think they've been equaled. That's from Andy Summers of The Police. They were really ahead of their time. Really is italicized, really ahead of their time. If you listen to the music that followed, they figured things out that took many bands 10 years or more to figure out. That's Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins. King's X music will never age. People will never get tired of beautiful harmony vocals and great songs. And that's from Richard Christie from Death, Iced Earth, Charred Walls of the Dam. I know those bands actually. King's X is a dynamic, soulful band whose show remains one of the best I've ever seen. It's Paul Schaefer from the David Letterman show. If you guys remember him.
Oh yeah.
So like there's actually an introduction with like Scott Ian from Anthrax, like a bunch of these guys.
Oh.
And like the guys from like Pearl Jam. They're like King Zex is greatest thing since sliced bread. And this album was my introduction. They have a couple albums before this. This is actually their third album, but we actually snuck it by with our mother's scrutiny because they were marketed for a short time as a Christian band.
Right.
However, it was fronted by a gay black man. And that news came out a few years later. And of course, like I think he's like a Buddhist now, or has nothing to do. Like they never were truly like a Christian band, even though I think one of them still is, two of them are not. But yeah, like this album, man, like I am who I am today. Like this, you talk about musical DNA. It's this like this is part of it, like an integral part of my musical development and my development as a human being. And I feel like that's probably selling it a little too much. But
no, I'm loving the love.
Yeah, and
it makes me want to listen.
And the faith
it's
and
that
hope.
passion behind loving an album, which makes me want to listen to an album.
Yeah.
When you hear somebody else doing that, and kind of go, oh, I want to hear that now,
dude. Like I love. Okay, the track that got me that I really remember is because like cassette tape. You listen to the first one, I was like, okay, that's different. It's a different sound. They were using that drop D tuning in 19. This is a year before grunge took off. Yeah. Of course, their previous albums were already using it, and so like the whole album is full of that, which really just appealed to me. And It's Love is very melodic, and that's the song that like hooked me in. I'm like, holy shit, I have to listen to the rest of this. And then it's just like one song after another of great songs. And like, they're a trio. So Doug Pinnick, he's the main singer, I should say. And he also plays a 12-string bass for what that's worth. Ty Tabor plays guitar.
That's crazy.
Gary Gaskell is on the drums, but Ty Tabor and Doug Pinnick actually sing often between the songs.
Now, when you say 12-string bass, do you mean like actual 12 different strings, or like the accompanying harmonic strings? Like it has 6 main strings and 6 harmonic strings.
12 strings.
So 12 individual strings each with a different note.
Yes.
Wow.
That's a lot of octaves.
I don't know if I've ever seen one of those.
I'm going to have to hear that.
Anyway, but like it's such a distinct sound, and like that's what these rock and roll stars of the past or whatever they're really taking with the sound. Anyway, like my favorite, and this is the other thing. Like one of my favorite tracks besides It's Love is the title cut, Faith, Hope, Love, and it's 10 minutes long. And so for me, like I had not listened to Pink Floyd, I had not listened to any of that 70s progressive stuff at that point yet. So like for a song to be 10 minutes long, what? And it was all good. So like here I am now listening. That's kind of something I listen to often. Or these long form songs. I love it, and I wouldn't call them progressive rock, but they're definitely progressive. If they're not progressive rock. Okay. Jeffrey Chopin, even though he could not drop a fat album of awesome new tunes for us to listen to from 1849. That's actually the year of his death. I just put 1849 since we put everything in there. But
it said something like 1810 to 1849 or something. Yeah. This is my standard for Chopin. Like when I hear somebody else play one of the songs that's on this, this album, it sounds wrong. It's like, because I listened to so many times. Yeah. If the tempo's a little different, if the timing was a little different, with the retards.
You're like, that's not how it's supposed to go.
Exactly. If it's too staccato or not staccato enough, it's like, oh, it sounds wrong. So that's how many times I listened to this.
That's cool.
Because I go through, times of depression, like a lot of people. But
And Chopin
Chopin,
gets you through.
yeah, it's one of those albums that I would listen to over and over and over again until I felt better or fell asleep.
Well, okay, that'll work. That'll work. What obviously this is like a greatest hits kind of compilation. What are your favorite words?
Oh, you're gonna do that to me. Hold on.
It's Chopin, Jeffrey. You should know this off the top of your head. When somebody asks me Mozart, I say.
You have not been hit in the head nearly as many times.
By Madigan.
You have not
Why
been
have
hit
you
in
been
the
hit
head.
in the head?
Oh, lots of reasons.
Mostly karate, but
My charming personality.
his charming personality is part of it.
Crap. I think is it Prelude in E? Boom, 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 boom.
Sounds about right.
That's one of my that's like my all-time favorite Chopin. And Fantasy Impromptu, also awesome.
Yeah, they're really famous.
Um,
Stu, aren't you a big fan of Chopin?
Yeah, so obviously by my interaction in this conversation, you can tell I'm a huge fan.
well, and Brandy,
I can't contribute other than sarcasm.
Brandy, when I met her, she could play the slow part of Fantasy Impromptu.
Okay.
But I always considered Chopin like the thrash metal of classical music. If that makes any sense.
You had very thin lips. According to that picture.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like maybe
is he doing that selfie like pursing thing? But like
I think he's like it looks like he's pursing his lips, but maybe he's not. I don't know.
Has he seen too many Q&A films?
I bet that's it. That's it.
He had.
All right.
He was sick. He had like was it tuberculosis? Is that what he died of?
I'm actually.
I feel bad.
I mean, I only know like. The concertos. I remember, and it's funny. Like, I'm not the biggest Chopin fan, but like I remember going to the university that was closest to where we grew up, and I actually listened to somebody play a Chopin concerto on the piano. Like it was like a lady from China, and that was really kind of eye opening to see. And it was interesting because this is the first time I had ever really been introduced to this idea that these musicians basically they learn this piece by heart, and
we have to. It's too long.
Yeah, and they just travel around the world playing that basically the same piece. And in a few years, when their tour's done, they'll do another one, and that's kind of their thing for a long time. And just to see this lady, like she was all over the piano. And like, when I mean all over, she was just like laying on it, like making love to the piano. And that was Chopin. So like, I thought that was cool. And I love the idea of somebody's persona for like a set amount of years being like one song. Like, that's kind of cool.
But like Tiffany.
I think we're alone now. Is that what we're talking about?
There's one song.
Seem to be
and it wasn't even hers.
I know, yeah. Okay, let's go to the next one, guys.
I'm more of a Rachmaninoff fan myself.
We're at the number 2s, gentlemen. And I guess I'm first. This number 2s because it's the shit. This is also one of my favorite all-time albums. Other than Dream Theater, my other obsession in high school was Extreme. Yes, I wore those T-shirts as well. Yeah, and so I even had I bought the music book so I could try to learn how to play some of these things on piano. I wanted to lyric. I just remember completely being enveloped in this album. And talk about albums that. Okay, so I'm gonna hold up the back here. So the first version I had of this was a cassette, and because a cassette tape can hold 90 minutes, a CD can only hold 80 minutes. They actually end up cutting one of the tracks that's on the cassette tape, and so I remember getting the CD and be like, "Where the fuck is the other song?"
That would suck.
Yeah, yeah. I was really kind of pissed about it because it was a song I really liked, but that's the thing. Like, I love all of these songs. It definitely represents a time in my life. It definitely helped develop some of my musical taste because
I liked quite a bit of the songs from this one.
yeah, and I mean the popular one is of course pornography, the one that has more than words, which like everybody in the universe pretty much knows. But this one is like it's not just like straight up rock or metal or whatever. It's very artfully done. It has basically a concept. So this was my first real concept sort of album. Um, and
Of course, I like the heavier tracks.
well, I mean, they're all good. That's the thing. They're all good. And so one of my favorite songs ever is actually the last track on here. It's called Who Cares? I don't know if that shows up backwards or not. But like, no, man, I still listen to it. I listen all the time. I think one even came up on my playlist today.
Beautiful song.
Beautiful song. My wife says beautiful song. It's a gorgeous song. And I find it very, very meaningful because as somebody who like wrestled with the idea of faith, like this was kind of like my breaking point. Like, even though I did not apostatize at that moment for having grown up in that kind of world, like there were some religious themes. I think the lead singer is actually like a born again Christian or whatever. Still, like it was a way out for me. And between that and actually have it on my honorable mentions. Actually, I don't know if I put it on there, but Purple. Actually, I don't think I put it on there. Stone Temple Pilots Purple were kind of
Excellent album.
Ways out of the tunnel. Yeah.
That's one we used to listen to and we'd sing along to it, and when you're giving me ride homes.
Yeah. No, actually, I put a different one on there when we go to honorable mentions here in a second, or a few minutes, and we'll talk about that. I don't want to see my thunder. All right.
Always very jealous of Nuno Betancourt's hair.
Nuno Betancourt has great
amazing hair. Amazing
hair. You're right. And that's the thing. Like they put out. They had 3 albums. No, 4 albums. They broke up after the 4th album. They got back together like 2008 or whatever it was. Nuno did some solo stuff that I love. I absolutely adore some of that stuff. And like some of the stuff I had to like special order from Japan, which for a 21-year-old individual was a really difficult job. I got that one. Anyway,
usually when somebody that age is special ordering stuff from Japan, it's not a good thing.
Oh, trafficking, Jeffrey? Are you on the dark net?
No, just okay. There was a story you told one time that you probably shouldn't tell again.
Oh. Now I feel
forget the red button, boys.
Am I being asked to tell the story?
You probably should.
Dude, I don't know. I don't think you want this. Okay, I'll tell it.
He was in a certain type of video store. No, you don't have to. You don't. If you want to tell it, you can.
No, it's fine. Like, I was with this friend, and we're in Tokyo, right? And we're about to leave, and he's like, "Hey, you know what? Like, I'm gonna go buy some porn." I'm like, "All right, cool." So we knew there's a shop underneath the train tracks, like close to the hotel, and so I'm like, "All right, sure, I'll go, whatever." And we go in there, and I'm just kind of wandering around the store, and yes. This is the one time my daughter comes into the room. Oh, no. You need to go away.
Go away, child. Go away.
Love you. No, don't hide. This is like her when she was sneaking into the hallway to watch Dead Alive.
Daddy, what happened in Japan?
What, 4 years old? Trying to watch the nastiest movie ever made. Okay, so I'm in this porn shop, right? And I'm just like wandering around, and I look at, because like I'm a dude, I'll look at the cover, sure, whatever. And I see this cover like sitting right, it was right at eye level too. Like I can never forget this. It's like I just turned and I looked, and I'm like, man, that is a big black cock going up that woman's ass. And then because it's a porn shop, so it's kind of dark, right? And this woman, like, it's there, and I lean in closer. I'm like, yeah. the woman's shitting on a dude's stomach, and it's just like massive, like that big around
Cleveland steamer.
And I think I screamed. I'm like, oh! And the guy that I was with, I'm like, come here. And he's like, what? I'm like, look at that. And he's like, he did the same thing I did. He's like,
What the fuck?
that's it. And then he like ran out. He didn't even buy the porn. He ran out.
Oh my goodness.
So that's my Tokyo memory there. Yeah. Okay.
Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, memories. Okay, Jeffrey, talk about Wolfstone, who Stu actually knows.
You know them?
I don't know. They played at our festival.
Oh,
We had them booked at our festival in our village. And
Yeah,
Richard, my partner, he booked them, and they were astonishingly popular. And yeah, we sold out.
it like encompasses like a whole 2 or 3 years of my life. This album and just because it reminds me so much of when I was playing in a pipe and drum band, and then we got to go to Scotland and compete in the World Championships.
When did you find this album? I don't remember you ever talking about it back then.
Somebody mentioned. Well, this was in like 97.
Okay, so you discovered it after the fact. All right.
Yeah. And we were in Scotland when someone heard a song, and one of the pipers heard a song. He said, "Oh, I think that's Wolfstone." It wasn't Wolfstone. It was some other band, but I remembered the name, so I looked, and looked it up, and I actually didn't look it up.
I'm gonna say, did you look it up on the YouTubes?
I think I just actually looked. I was like perusing through Barnes and Nobles. Barnes and Nobles.
Was it in the specialist section?
Probably. But I was perusing through Barnes and Nobles, the CDs they used to sell. And I'm like, holy shit, that's that band that guy said. And so I got it, and it was awesome.
You found treasure.
Yeah. And so it just reminds me of that whole time in my life of playing in the pipe and drum band and going to Scotland and being able to take my wife to Scotland.
Where'd you go in Scotland?
97, 98.
Where?
We went to Glasgow and Edinburgh.
Glasgow, great fun.
So close to Stu. You could have met back then.
Could have met back then. Glasgow's not far at all.
Went to Kelburn Castle. I missed Stirling because I was just exhausted.
Glasgow, we usually, other than pandemic years, we normally go to Glasgow every January for Celtic Connections.
Ooh.
Where we check out a lot because Richard's really into Celtic music. So
when we got
just on the other side of the border, we book a lot of Celtic bands. So because they sell tickets.
Yeah, I think it was still in 96.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 96 because I remember the hat I got from the championships in 1996. But also it was I told my wife when I met her someday I was going to take her to Scotland, and I actually got to just a few years later. Cool. So
yes,
that was cool.
Your promise. Now you don't have to do anything. Like you're done. Yeah. Box checked. Leave me alone.
But deep fried Mars bar?
No, but I had millionaire shortbread, which was awesome.
Nice.
Shortbread, thick layer of caramel, thick layer of chocolate.
That's good. That you're right. That is good.
But also
sugar for a while.
But Brandy and I also really bonded over the whole going to Scotland thing, and it helped us when she was away at college, before I joined her.
Cool. Favorite tracks you recommend?
Let me see.
So I listened to some of this, and I'm like, I don't really know. Like, I listened through the first few songs, but I didn't really give it its due.
I like Glass in the Can. It's a good one.
It sounds like you just sat on a glass and.
I've seen that video. It's horrible.
It's you can't unsee it.
I know.
You can't unsee it. It's just wrong.
You guys talking about Go Boy?
No.
You mean Goatsy?
Don't Google it. It's worse than Two Girls in a Cup. Honestly.
Oh God, it's horrible.
It's just wrong.
No.
I nearly threw up when I saw that.
Thank you very much.
The $10 floats is a good one. Close it down. That's a good one. Close it down, shut
right.
it.
How
Not enough
much
profit.
bagpipe is there?
In this,
Yeah.
at least half the songs, probably more.
Okay. So it's heavy on the bagpipes.
Yeah. It's Scottish rock.
My sister sent me something several years ago. They called it like Scottish mongrel rock or something like that. Do you know what this is? I knew the word mongrel was in it. Oh God, I wish I can remember the name of the band. They might even be from Australia now or whatever, but I thought it was pretty hilarious. All right, Stu.
Yes.
Linkin Park, dude, you're a super fan.
I am a super
fan.
Super fan.
So
Yeah,
let me.
I listened to this album last night too. It was good.
Yeah, I actually bought this album way back then. Although my ex got custody of it, so I never rebought it. Anyway,
the 20th anniversary has just been released.
Okay,
it's got all the extras on it.
I was like, oh yeah, I know that song. Oh yeah, I know that song.
So did you buy the special editions too?
No, Christmas is just around the corner, and hoping. But I don't think Santa's been that good to me because I've been a naughty boy.
Stu, you bastard.
A good naughty boy or a bad naughty boy?
Oh, I could be any of the naughty boys if I was. Yeah, let's just not go there.
Wow. Okay. Okay, Stu. I have to ask you this because, like, I know you're a Chester Linkin Park super fan.
Yes.
But you put a different album as your number one. So my question is, okay, because our parameters here is most influential.
Yeah.
So in terms of like favorite, which do you prefer your number one or do you prefer this one?
I think in terms of favorite, and I would never have said this back in the day, but now as an adult, I would probably say this one.
Okay.
Which I'm really surprised that I'm saying that, but I come back to this much more often now. But I think it's because I probably played my number one to death almost when I was a teenager. And when you play something so much, I can't listen to. There's one song on the other album that I just have to skip now because I've played it so much. I just go. It's so in me that I can't bear to hear it anymore.
Gotcha.
I've made myself sick on a song.
Favorite tracks off Hybrid Theory, Linkin Park?
In the End.
So that's their most famous song, period.
Oh, one step closer to the end, and I'm about to break.
No, I'm about to break. I'm about to break. One step closer. That's I don't know. Point of Authority is also up there on this.
Wasn't that Point of Authority the other single, the popular single off that one?
Crawling was huge as well. I've got myself a little note here. What I'm thinking. But it's all one note. That's the problem with Crawling. It's just like it's all up there. Hybrid Theory. In the End, I've got it. Yeah, that's in my notes. So it must be my favorite song. But I think
there's two notes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So it's more.
But it's quite a challenging. It's a challenging song to sing, but it's quite a boring song from a technical point of view.
Very emotional.
But it's very, very emotional. But I think what happened with my top influential album is that introduced me to the concept of soft loud. And I really liked, which didn't even get mentions about. I still quite like a lot of rap, like Public Enemy, NWA, all that sort of thing. But I'd never heard a band take rap and rock music and sort of like smash it together. And I was like, that's incredible. But when I still have the same experience with it. There are times when I listen to Linkin Park, and I don't know if it's been terribly good for my mental health, frankly, whether it's helped me through or just embedded some of those feelings a little bit deeper. But so there's certain stuff which Chester famously talks about a lot, about just feeling so disconnected, and what's one of the reasons why the band sold so well, that they connected emotionally with millions of people around the world through them, is just the feelings of not belonging and feeling hurt and just that pain growing up. And so it's when I heard the stuff, it was like somebody just basically kind of looked at me soul and went, hello, I'm here and you're here too. And we're sharing this experience together. And it was, yeah, it was literally like sort of like, wow, this dude's like talking about me and my life and how I feel about these relationships with these people. And
that's the beauty. Okay, so like what we're talking about, most influential, and I found myself when I listen to music, and this is what you talk about, like we're not just old, like yeah, we're old and get off my lawn and shit. But
Get off my lawn.
There we go. Sure, that's the case for some of it, but when I listen to music, I look for elements of the lyrics to be applicable to my life, like what you're saying. And like, you know, I want the album to be relatable and even something like biographical, like, oh my God, like that, like what you're saying, that's me. Like, that's how I consume music. But like, you can't do that anymore. Like a lot of the stuff that's coming out is the popular stuff. I mean,
yeah, there's a few bits.
great
I mean,
hey, it's just
I heard good things about this band, Hadrian's Union.
we're doing all right. We're doing
Adrian,
well. To be honest,
Walleye.
it's taken me a long time to. I've always been honest as a lyricist. But there's a few. There's on the new EP, one song which is the video Lesser View, and I've really dug deep to be extremely open and extremely honest about my relationship and about a certain relationship that I had to let go of for me to move on with my life, in the hope that other people who will listen to it go, like what Chester did and what and Kurt Cobain and other writers have done, in the sense of kind of going, not Kurt so much. I digress. I'm reaching out in the same sort of lyrical way. That's what these people have taught me as a songwriter, to kind of go, right, you need to dig deep, and all this sort of pain and angst or love or whatever it is, emotion you're trying to convey, be honest. And that way you will, and my job is as an artist is to make a connection. And that's what basically that's what Chester and Linkin Park taught me to do. That's what Kurt taught me to do. And all in different aspects of the people that I like, even up to Michael Jackson, is lyrically, these people have basically taught me whether this is not about making money. This is probably why I haven't got any money. This is about communicating from one human being to another. And if it only communicates with one person and it changes them in some sort of way, or it helps them feel less alone, then my job is done. That's what I'm here for. But if it was to communicate with millions, thousands, then that would make my job a lot easier.
Because it would be a job where you made
exactly
to live off of.
Yeah.
I guess that's why. I guess that makes sense why I stopped writing poetry after I met Brandy. I lost a lot of that angst. I was happy.
Oh, you lost your existential dread. That's a shame.
All of a sudden, I was like happy and stuff. It was weird.
Weird. Oh, don't worry, it comes back.
Eventually. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do our number ones, man.
Woo!
All right.
Wait, that one looks familiar.
We already mentioned it. Why is Nevermind your number one?
It changed everything.
Wait, why did I listen to an REM album?
That was that yes.
That was a perspective. It's on the next slide.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Nirvana, Nevermind changed everything. It absolutely, from, because it was like metal, pop and a little bit of, but then and the hairs stood up on the back of my neck, and I was literally sitting in front of watching MTV because I was obsessed with Heavy Dragon's Ball and all the rest of it, and I just went, what the fuck is this? And from that moment, I'm going to school next day. You have to like, I need to know more about this band. I was obsessed, and it made me think at that point. I could do that. When I was listening to like Iron Maiden and Guns N' Roses and Bon Jovi, like Axl Rose was hitting notes I could never even dream about. And I was like, I can't be the sexiest John Bon Jovi. It's just not possible. I'm a Geordie from Newcastle, and I'm a weirdo. And then Kurt Cobain came along and I went, oh my goodness, that I don't feel so fucking weird
His
because
stringy,
there's
greasy
all,
hair.
yeah.
I mean, it definitely ushered in a zeitgeist because alienation, like even though that was part of some of the music from the 80s, like The Cure and whatever, like alienation was a central theme in that grunge movement. And of course, Nevermind is that milestone album that pushed all those dominoes over, that gave us that Seattle sound for a number of years, and that was the only cool thing to listen to until it wasn't.
It killed the hair bands.
It did. It killed the hair bands, and other bands either had to evolve or they're currently doing the old man hairband circuit, trying to still make money off of those hits from 40 years ago.
They used to wear so much makeup and so much their hairspray that.
Well, listen, Manowar were sexy men. Okay,
I think it was Motley Crue. I think it was Motley Crue. My cousin Jennifer didn't realize they were at the Kalamazoo Mall. What was the name of that? Westnage? Crossroads? Probably Crossroads. And she saw Motley Crue walking around. She thought they were a motorcycle gang.
They were walking around the mall
because they weren't wearing their hair or makeup.
Okay.
She thought they were a motorcycle gang, and so she walked by and went, run, run, you know.
That's Motley Crue.
No, she didn't realize it until later.
Okay.
Because she wasn't really into that kind of music. So
yeah,
she realized, like, holy crap, I saw Motley Crue at the mall.
You could have got laid by Nikki Sixx.
Yeah, I had a friend who worked at that
she
mall.
was underage, but probably wouldn't stop him at the time.
Still.
He served Tommy Chong there because he used to come in for that pot festival there, like a little way south.
Hey, man.
Yeah, he was buying some jeans, buying jeans from the Sears store. Tommy Chong shopped at Sears, but I don't.
The thing is, I would never think now. I mean, Nirvana made me want to move to Seattle, and there's so many. It wasn't just me. Those people around the world wanted to go to Seattle because of the Seattle sound, because of Nirvana, because it was like, I want to follow that dream. I want
booty.
It changed the way that I dressed. It changed the way that I sort of
thought
about writing lyrics, and it was just the way that he looked at words and poetry. It wasn't. It's not straightforward. The words he would choose would make you think about his choice of words and whether it made sense or not. And years later, like literally years later, I'm reading through and still kind of picking through some of his stuff and going, oh, that's what that means. It's like it's like this incredible puzzle. So a mulatto, an albino, a mosquito, my libido, and I was like, these are words. I didn't know what a libido was. I knew what a mosquito was, but there's a whole bunch of stuff. I was like, this is introducing me to a lexicon which I have no context for.
That is the song that makes the least sense, I think, on that album.
But when you kind of look into on the surface of it, yes, but when you start kind of look into his influences and the things he's gone through to get to that point in that song, small points of being a teenager, Smells Like Teen Spirit, the nonsensical, the stuff which goes through your head when you're a teenager doesn't make any sense. It's a jumbly mess of nothing. You kind of in there and you're reading books and you say, when you look at his artwork as well, it's this big mishmash. It's like a collage, and Smells Like Teen Spirit is almost like a lyrical collage of ideas, and it just blew my mind.
That's an excellent way to put it. It's a musical collage of
what I thought what he said about my mosquito, a mosquito, my libido. It's like somebody's got a small proboscis.
Exactly. I mean, but it makes you think about. It makes you think about a word and a lyric and how suggestive just language can be. And And now even maybe it's that when I'm having conversations with people, and I did a TV thing recently, and I knew that I was being filmed. So when I'm being filmed, I'm choosing specific words which I'm thinking that'll get me more airtime, because I've been taught through lyrics and through reading and all that stuff, which are just words that I'm into. The power of what you say and how it's said and when it's said. And Kurt was like a ninja when it came to lyric writing, and he went through so much stuff. And went no, 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 yes, yes, and no. And for some reason, he was channeling, and that just really, really spoke to me. And still to this day, as a songwriter, and just the way that I convey myself. And then today I went through my wardrobe, and it's after 20 years, I'm getting rid of some of my grunge clothes, and I'll never wear them again. But it's been such a big part of who I am that I just want to let go of it. But I'm not getting rid of the
You were wearing some of those clothes in your grumpy old man video.
Yeah, I'm wearing the Ballad of the Grumpy Old Man. I am wearing pajamas outside. It is a direct nod of the hat to Kurt. It was because it was such an eye to me. I thought, actually, Kurt would go around outside at one point. He just got into wearing pajamas as clothes. So, and I thought, actually, I want to kind of.
He was ahead of his time with that one.
Totally. Yeah.
Ooh.
Anyway, that's me and how much I love and
We've definitely talked about this album quite a bit. So Jeffrey,
Yes.
and Justice for All, which is it's a surprising pick of Metallica's discography.
Really?
I thought you would have gone Black.
Nope. I do like the Black album, but it was kind of like when the Black album came out, it was like, did they sell out? No, this is still good. It was just a departure of their normal style, but with Cliff dying and everything, he helped write a lot of the music, so makes sense. But yeah, just my favorite song on it is the title track and Justice for All. You were talking about the soft and the hard, or the quiet and the
Soft
loud.
and loud.
Soft and loud. They definitely learned that lesson. They would start soft and pretty, and then and so it made the loud stuff sound louder and the soft stuff sound softer. And there was lots of good there was some beautiful guitar solos, and then so when I first heard it, it's like, yeah, this song rocks, I love it. But as I got older, I started listening to the lyrics more, and the lyrics are all about how politicians and courts and everything, seeking no truth, winning is all. So it's talking about the court systems and the politicians.
Right, cool.
They don't care what's true. They don't care what's good for people. They just want to win, and they want that money, and that's it. So
Also, like, I don't know if did you mention the track One?
Blackened.
No, One.
Oh, One. Yeah, One.
That's definitely one of my favorite Metallica tracks.
Yeah, it made me like, maybe I won't join the military. As one of the ones.
Can you do the double pedal?
Oh yeah.
No, I know. I get it. Okay.
Yes, I can do
the double pedaling on One's just astonishing.
All right, so Jeff,
that was probably that and Pork Soda, or no, that and My Name Is Mud are the first ones I learned to do on double bass.
Nice.
Awesome.
It's such a difficult thing to do, but it's very, very impressive.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good workout.
All right. Anything else you want to say about it?
It has one of their instrumentals on it, which is awesome. My favorite instrumental of theirs is actually Orion, which is on Master of Puppets, but this one's pretty damn good too.
Cool.
Called To Live Is to Die.
Gotcha.
And whenever I was like super pissed off, Dryer's Eve. That one The sound of anger is that song is like perfect.
Away.
You just headbang until you get all your aggression out.
All right, Stu. Were you ever much of a Metallica fan?
Yeah, no, I love Metallica. Everything up until Black, and pretty much everything else after Black sucks.
Wait.
So everything. So everything up until Black, and then
everything up to Black's great. Everything after Black kind of sucks. There's like Saint Anga's.
Actually, like Load.
Oh, yeah, Load's okay.
What's
the acoustic album? The sort of the one they did with the was it Ringo that they did?
Yeah.
With the orchestra.
Oh, S&M.
S&M, yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
No Leaf. Cool. I love No Leaf Clover.
That was good.
I love No Leaf Clover.
Yeah, but I sort of after Black, I kind of sort of drifted a bit, but I'd still definitely go and see them live.
I think I'd start to drift after Reload.
Okay, Jeff, have you ever seen them live?
The only.
It's interesting reaction.
Yeah, exactly.
The only groups I've ever seen live. Do you remember? I don't know if you were going to Centerville at that time, but there was this band that came to the high school, and it was called XL. Like Excel.
Yes, I do. I was there. Yeah, I remember that.
I've seen them live, and I have seen Weird Al Yankovic live.
So basically, one person.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, XL was like some local Christian band or something like that. I think they're from like Indiana.
I actually bought the album.
Yeah,
and it was terrible. They sounded so much better live.
No,
they sounded so much better live. They should have just.
Surely they wouldn't have been terrible.
They cleaned up the guitars till they sounded kind of prissy and they didn't have that same.
Trash, damn it.
The guitars were more alive. There's certain music. It's like it sounds okay, but it's dead. There's nothing to it. It doesn't sound alive.
Dude, if I ever make any money ever, I'm coming to America, and all of us are going to a gig. We're all going to see Metallica or something.
Yes.
Like that.
Oh my God.
We will do that.
That's it.
We can't have the fact that you've only ever seen Weird Al Yankovic and XL.
I really like Weird Al.
Yeah, Jeff, I didn't know that either, and that's unacceptable.
That is unacceptable. We need to go.
Like,
I'll even have a drink for that. I'll drink.
I don't even know how many times I've seen Steven Wilson. So like, come on, man.
He's touring the UK next year.
Yes, I know. I was going to come crash at your place.
Yes, you could. Glasgow's just up the road.
Like any band I'd want to go see, they're all like.
I think he actually sold out.
Users now.
Is he already?
Yeah, he sold out within minutes. Because he was going to do like a show at the O2, which is like his first like stadium venue ever. And then the pandemic shit on that.
Yeah, they only let like 5 people in there.
Yeah, right. So now he's.
Oh, that reminds me. There was some government guy in Europe. I think it was Hungary. Did you hear about this story, Stu?
No.
He, of course, he's an anti-gay right winger in
Poland. Poland.
It was Poland? Okay, I thought it was Hungary. But anyways, one of those. He got busted trying to flee from a 24-man orgy. Which isn't
the same guy. What? No, maybe it's not the same guy. Hold on.
No, I'm pretty sure this was Hungary, but he got busted.
Yeah, it might be.
Trying to sneak out of a 24 man orgy, and he's like super. Oh, the gays are the problem with everything. Blah, blah, blah. I hate the gays. It's always those guys.
Yeah, that's it. Just a shock, yeah.
And how come they get the fucking invites?
But it's because they should, if they'd limited it to 4.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah, for the only 4 people. We're in a bubble. It's fine. It's not an orgy.
Anything over gatherings of 4 was illegal. I just thought it was hilarious that
that's the way it always is, man.
I know. Just be your fucking self, people.
That's the way it is. Like what Lindsey Graham apparently visits all sorts of male prostitutes in Washington D.C., and yet he's one of those guys beating the drum against.
How much must they hate themselves?
That's Yeah, exactly. All right, you ready? Are you ready for
Yeah.
my number
What is
one?
this? There isn't even any writing on it.
I know. I'm like trying to remember which one it was.
Look, I'm holding it in my hand.
Oh, that's cool. But what is it?
All right.
The hand we can see or the hand we can't see? Oh.
This is my super deluxe edition, like $100,
Damn.
£100 deluxe edition of an album from 2002. Came out in September of 2002, called In Absentia, which which whatever. But this album changed, like it changed my life more than anything else. Of course, you're all both aware of my obsession. My fan status is pretty high, or religious, quasi-religious status, whatever, for Steven Wilson. And yeah, like, this album is the first album I ever listened to from him. He actually, I told you before, it's kind of like a 6 degrees of Kevin Moore, the guy from Chroma Key, the Dream Theater guy. Steven Wilson sang and co-wrote one of the songs on an album with Kevin Moore. I'm like, man, that's a damn good song. And so it just so happened, like, I looked them up, and their stuff it wasn't easy to get in the States yet, like, because they were still pretty new here. This is like the only album that you could buy here without having to pay like a lot of money for import fees or whatever. But it was also the newest album. Like, it had just come out probably.
I liked this one.
The same, yeah, it came out like the same week or two after like this other Kevin Moore thing I was saying. And it's Porcupine Tree, which is how, well, he got famous in the UK for a band called No Man. I don't know if Stu, if you ever followed that.
Oh.
That's actually how he got money to build his studio. He was on a major label, and then he had this Porcupine Tree as his side project, but it outgrew No Man, and they had released several albums. The first few albums, I should say, are mostly just him. And then he started adding these other ones. By the time you get to 2002, it's a full-on band with the drummer that they actually ended with. But yeah, this is. I've got photo. It's like a full-on book. Lots of photographs. Oh, story about. It has the lyrics. You might think I'm crazy.
No. I wanted the hybrid theory. They've just done the same thing, and I want it. So I understand that. Oh, that's cool. I like.
Okay. Yeah, the artist is actually Lasse Hoyle, who's Danish. Anyway, this album is okay. So I bought the album and I like absolutely fell in love. Like, it was a complete paradigm shift. Like, I had listened to, like, I actually thought about putting Images and Words from Dream Theater on there because, like, that was a pretty important album for me. But I never fully related to what Dream Theater was. And even though this album is mostly about serial killers, I related to this album a lot more. It just, like, musically, it was more of what I was interested in. And he was producing sounds that I didn't know were possible. It's inventive. And obviously this is sort of gone down in history as like one of the great, if not one of the great, then the greatest progressive album of like the last 30 years from this right here. So I remember there was like a special edition that I special ordered back then because then I had a debit card and a job. And I had like 4 extra tracks or whatever it was. And like those, even the extra, like the outtakes, the B-sides were phenomenal. So there it is. It's been about 17 years of like level 10 obsession with all things Steven Wilson. And this is where it starts. And like, I can tell you that my life would not, like, it would not be the same without this music at all. I don't even know if I'd be here today if it weren't for Steven Wilson's music. So, like, you talk about listening to a lot of his music is sad, and that's my catharsis. It's a way for me to heal. And you go through those dark times, like what Jeff was saying, like that, you pull out somehow, and oftentimes, for people like us, I think it's music, and it's Steven Wilson's music for me. New album out in January. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm trying to convert Stu to Steven Wilson religion as well.
No, it's happening slowly. It's good.
Is it all right? Did you listen to the 12 Things I Forgot? It seemed like a song you might dig.
I forget.
He actually does. He does a lockdown. He just recorded like 2 weeks ago. He does a lockdown recording of him, and then like separately record or whatever. But he's duetting with the singer from Spandau Ballet.
Spandau Ballet.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, that's weird.
So that's my number one, babies. That's my number one. Love it, love it, love it. Not my favorite album, but it's the most influential. Not my favorite album up there. So I actually love the one that came after. Right after that, the most. Okay, I should say right after. 3 years later. Next one, guys, is our honorable mentions. Jeff, you didn't give me an honorable mention, so I totally guessed Nine Inch Nails, Downward Spiral.
Nope.
Oh, all right. Well, I thought it was good. So I put it up there.
It was close.
Okay.
It was next to honorable.
Okay.
Exceptional.
Dishonorable.
Exceptional mention.
It's sort of honorable. I did put your
Speaking of catharsis song, I remember our friend or kind of his friend, my friend Andy. He was in a bad breakup, and he locked himself in his room and listened to Hurt for like 2 days straight. Just on a loop.
This is when we kept trying to get him to come out of the closet. I remember this.
No, that was Steve.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Sorry, because he thought
we're still
dad,
trying to get him out of the closet. Well, not
because he thought his dad was going to go to hell because he was the wrong type of Christian.
Because he was a Catholic.
Yeah.
You joined the wrong club.
Don't worry, Steve. You were already going to hell before I remember.
But God made me this way, so that's a bit fucked up and unfair.
Indeed.
My honorable mentions, yes, The Hunted was on there.
Which is Japanese style drumming, right?
Taiko drums, which inspired me to write a taiko. It inspired me to write a taiko drum style drum quartet for a solo ensemble, and we got first in regionals and second in the state.
Wow, cool.
And
well done.
My other honorable mentions are Pork Soda by Primus. That just brings back all the memories of this one time at band camp. And
did you shove a flute up your butt, Jeff?
No, but I did right here. Listening to Primus always puts a little grin on my face. I won't tell you what I'm doing with drumsticks. Nice. Listening to Primus always puts a little grin on my face, and if I'm standing, a wiggle in my booty.
Nice.
And of course, my third honorable mention was Conan the Barbarian, because the Anvil of Crom, bum 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 bum.
We talked about that in our soundtrack.
Yeah, but it was a big influence on me wanting to become a drummer with that timpani opening with the Anvil of Crom. It's just like, wow, the drums are awesome.
All right, Stu, talk about your Beach Boys, which I also love that album.
Wouldn't it be nice if you talked about it?
What?
Wouldn't it be nice if you talked about it?
Wouldn't it be nice?
If we were older?
In a kind of world where we
I used to listen to Beach Boys all the time.
I mean, this would have been like greatest hit after greatest hit.
Well, this would have been in the top 5 if, because I didn't know it was a best of. It was the first piece of music I ever owned. Or the second. Was it the first or the second? In my honorable mentions, like I said, my parents were both sort of very sort of mainstream music listeners.
We had a Beach Boys on 8-track. We had a Beach Boys album on 8-track. That's how long ago
my mom had this LP.
I've still got this on cassette with a completely different cover to this.
Really? That's the LP cover.
It's a totally different cover. It's basically just a picture of the Beach Boys standing on a beach, with the yellow background. But I've listened to it that much. The print on the tape's actually been rubbed away, so it just looks like a blank tape now. But it still plays. it was just lovely. It introduced me to harmonies and lovely songs and extremely incredible sounds, like good vibrations I've never heard of. It's not as
Such a good song.
yeah.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
it's every single song is just incredible. But I didn't know anything of the Beach Boys other than the fact that this is just the best album I've heard ever, because I hadn't heard any other albums than which my parents had. So it was mine, and it felt special.
Awesome. All right, Stu, what about REM?
Yes, this was nearly in the top 5 by accident. It's nearly in the top 5 by accident, because basically losing my religion hit my life at a very pivotal point. That was, as we've mentioned, I was brought up Catholic, and I did very much consider, because of my belief in God and all the rest of it, and the church was quite strong. But because of my sexuality, I lost my faith. So losing my religion hit me at the time when I went, oh yeah, I'm gay. And it just basically that song came out at the same time as I came out, and well, came to myself more, because I didn't publicly come out till I was 18. But when that song came out, that's when I realized, I was like, oh.
Well, that's like the cathartic songs we were talking about. Like it's okay to be sad. That song for you was it's okay to be gay and not religious. You weren't alone,
No,
losing your religion.
It was but it was the whole, because losing my faith was probably well, it's changing. It's changed, but from my concept of what God, for want of a better word, is or could be, for then that was my closest relationship, because I didn't really feel terribly close with any of my family. But so my closest relationship was with this invisible non-entity in my mind. So, but by losing my religion, I kind of had to give up the closest relationship to anything that I have to get closer to a more truthful self. So that song put me in the frame of mind to actually be brave enough to kind of confront that, and other than just hide it and become a priest and not even consider it, because it would have came out in other ways, I'm sure, in years to come. So if losing my religion hadn't been a thing, then maybe I'd still be in the closet. Maybe I doubt it, but it would yeah, it was pivotal in the realization of that part. It's not my entire personality, but that part of my personality.
All right, Jive Money, go.
That introduced me to like.
I listened to that for the first time ever today, and what the fuck?
I didn't get that one. I'll have to listen to it.
It's totally what the fuck. It's honestly, it's just cheese, absolute huge. Because I've never heard of Glenn Miller, all this rock and roll and all these bits. So you get, for any American listener out there, Jive Bunny is weird, because it'll, within the space of 3 minutes, you'll get everything from Glenn Miller to Gary Glitter to Elvis Presley, and anything as long as it hits the beat and all of the words or anything kind of come together.
Here, I thought I was going to be the weird one. What?
The medley seems to be the form here.
It is, the medley is the form, and they've stepped away from that in recent years.
Here, I thought it was going to be the weird one with pork soda.
No. Jive Bunny is proper strange, but it kind of makes sense when you listen to it. And it was the first introduction to any sort of like DJing that I'd ever come across in my life. This was long before raves and people mashing up tracks. This, for me in England, this was the introduction to sort of any sort of DJ culture. So
what year did this come out? About
God, in primary school, so 88 maybe. No, about 87. Okay. Something like that.
Is it like it's like a dance music, like an EDM, or?
It literally goes from, it starts with Glenn Miller, and then it just mixes into another thing, and so it is, but it's not dance music as in it's literally old school songs.
I actually really like playing In the Mood on the drums.
Yeah, it's great. But so what I loved about Jive Bunny was the fact that I might not be dressing the way that I dress these days if I hadn't been introduced to Glenn Miller through Jive Bunny, and my love of 1940s and old and vintage and just that sort of that look, that the world that was.
I agree. I love that aesthetic as well.
It's I just love that look and that kind of feel of things. And this is why I've got a handlebar mustache and dressed like it's the 1940s, and I feel comfortable like this. And if it hadn't been for Jive Bunny, then that might not be a thing.
All right. Wait. Okay, you did yours. Hey, I'll talk about Dream Theater Images and Words since I've already mentioned it. That was my first progressive rock album ever that I listened to. I had never heard, like, other than some of the songs off The Wall and maybe Brain Damage from Dark Side of the Moon. I never really listened to that style of music. And so a friend of my brother's like, hey, you like extreme, try this. And so he gave me the cassette to listen to for this. And I absolutely fell in love with it, and it definitely steered my musical taste for a while. And like, I also like 6 degrees of Kevin Moore or whatever. Like, so much of what I ended up listening to and love now was because of those little connections through Dream Theater, even though I don't really give a shit about them now because they're terrible.
Is Dream Theater the one that did the
Nope.
Oh, okay. Who's that?
I don't know. What are you talking about? Okay, now it sounds closer. It's been so long since that's the other thing. I don't listen to this album anymore. I think I listened to the opening track, Pull Me Under.
Singer was like bald.
Say no, that's not that, man.
Okay, sorry.
No, definitely no. They had the long hair, man, and like
somebody out there's going, oh, that one.
Yeah, I know that one.
I'm just like, it sounds very familiar, but I don't remember. Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. I mean, you talk about formative years. Like, that came in October of our senior year of high school. And I just remember, with my Discman, everybody was out, inside eating lunch. I'd be out in the hallway. Like,
the world is a vampire.
The world is a vampire. And like that lasted up and through, like, I started university. And like,
that's an awesome song, by the way.
It really is.
That album, it's a double album, and like, people don't fucking do that anymore. It's just like, even some of like the tracks you wouldn't really expect to hear from Billy Corgan and gang, like, I love. There's so many good songs, and it runs the gamut musically in terms of style, all within the confines of their sound. What?
The one that they go to the moon, they recreate that old movie.
Oh, isn't that Tonight?
Tonight? Yeah. Tonight.
Tonight.
I love that song.
It's a good song. And like, there's so many singles off that album. I mean, like, Bullet with Butterfly Wings, Zero.
Yeah.
1979 is probably the one that endured the longest. Like, people
good video as well.
Love.
But just to think about the Tonight and Bullets with Butterfly Wings and 1979 all on the same album,
like,
with such different sounds.
And I mean, Purple's the same way, and I realize I put STP's next album after Purple up because that was probably just a little, it kind of edged it out a little bit, but it's just like single after single on that album. They're like no filler on
our second album,
The Melancholy,
of sacred melodies worth listening. That hidden track, remember?
Oh yeah, off Tiny Music. Yeah.
For Mathis lovers.
I think Jeff needs to get all of the bits where he's singing and humming and just edit it all together.
Right?
I want to see that.
No, that's the other thing with albums. Jeff just brought it up. Like, there's no such thing as a hidden
track. Yeah.
We do hidden tracks. Adrian's Union do hidden tracks.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you got a physical copy of Overboard Wireless?
Yeah, it's in my garage though.
Yeah, but there's a hidden track
after the last track.
Yeah,
those are always neat because you're like sitting there and it's like, wait,
I
put it on repeat? I thought I put it on repeat. What the hell is going on?
Stu, is yours like after the last track?
It's after the last track, but it's not. I wanted to leave it a lot longer but the rest of the band are much more. I'm quite old school, but the rest of the band are much more progressive than I am.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, leave it for like half an hour, at least 15 minutes. But they've, I think they've kind of got it down to about it's about a 30-second gap. So there's like silence for about 30 seconds, and then
I probably wouldn't have noticed it as being a hidden track. Then.
Oh, that hidden track.
I just would have included.
But I do like a proper like on never mind endless nameless.
Okay.
Well, that what was the name of the Dookie? The hidden track at the end of Dookie.
I never owned it. I just had the greatest hits album.
It's called All by Myself.
Oh, that's on their. That's actually on their album. That's a track.
Yeah, but originally it was a hidden track.
Yeah, originally it was.
Oh, was it?
Originally
Okay.
was. Yeah, it was.
It's about a kid breaking into this girl's house,
And
and
having
going to her bed and masturbating.
Being a perv.
You and me had such wonderful times when I'm all by myself.
All by myself.
It was the first time I heard it. I was like, "What the fuck am I listening to?"
Okay, I'm going to throw this out there as the coolest hidden track I've ever heard. It was actually a Christian band, one of the many I used to listen to before I broke out of my shell. But it was cool because it was actually before the first track. And like one day, I remember one day I was listening to it in the car with my brother, and I'm like, "Is this sound like somebody's saying whisper rewind?" It was like rewind. I'm like, we had it up really loud. And so like, is it saying rewind, or is like the devil speaking to us or something? And so like he held the button to rewind the track. And sure enough, it was a Father Abraham. They were singing Father Abraham as a hidden track before the first song. It's like
I love that.
I've ever heard.
That's so cool.
A hidden track. Like, has anybody ever done that again?
That is so clever. I love that.
Don't think so.
Like it was just like we had listened to the album for like a year before we even discovered it.
Oh,
wow, that's cool.
I love it.
Yeah,
you can't. The thing is, you can't really do that with downloads. It's just
no, you can't.
It's just an impossibility.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, do people don't even really buy buy physical CDs anymore? You download your shit through iTunes or whatever.
It's the people who do buy it. What I've noticed is people who interact with the band, people who come and see the band play, people who are invested with themselves personally. They've had an experience with the band, or people who have no way of getting to see the band ever. Like we have sort of sold stuff in Canada, in Australia, and Germany. But because we've had radio plays in those places, and it's very unlikely that we're gonna at some point soon get.
I don't know. Yeah, I think your new one's gonna get a little bit more play like that because you sent it to me the other day, and I was like, damn, this is like it's different enough where I think it's gonna have more broad appeal.
I think so. And that's only the EP, so the next album hopefully will be even
more of that.
So be more of this and sort of because it's the new Hadrian Junior sound, and it's the first time in my life I've released something without gigging with the band. It's really, really weird.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true too. Anyway, well, guys, I'm really hungry. It's time to go eat some dinner. Or Stu probably go to bed. I don't know. You got any big plans?
Time is it there?
I have no idea. It is 12:49 morning.
Wow.
Well, it's 12:50, but we normally don't go to bed till about 3 o'clock.
Why so early?
Sometimes. Why so early?
So you and Jeff are on the same schedule then.
So sometimes.
Some of us stiffs have to get up at 5 a.m. Anyway.
No, I don't have children to have to deal with. I've got a dog, but she wants out at about 8 o'clock. But
well, I could deal with that. Anyway. All right, guys. Well, it has been pretty awesome. We need to do it again soon.
Yes. And it was Merry Christmas.
Yes, Christmas edition. But while I'm on vacation, we'll do another one.
Yuletide.
Yes, festive Yule and a happy Festivus for the rest of us.
Absolutely.
All right, gentlemen. Adieu.
Adieu.
Oh God.
Good night.
Oh God.
Oh God. Oh God.
I'm ending.
It's your fault.
Pull the plug.
I'm still.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
You shouldn't have to.
Oh, here we are. This meeting is being recorded.
Yes.
Continue.
All right.
Wonderful.
What'd you call me?
You're gonna do it.
Wonderful.
So you're kicking me out. Well, guys, it's been great.
Ask Jeff to say, "What? Shut the fuck up, Donnie."
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
No. Ask him to say it.
Jeff, say shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
You gotta say you're out of your
Hey,
element. Shut the fuck up, Donnie. Commit to it.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie. You're out of your element.
Out of your element. You got to do it. You're out of your element. Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
You're out of your element. Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
There we go.
Wow, that was good.
And the Oscar goes too.
But Jamie told me what the topic is today, and it's got me thinking.
Yeah, I've 2 weeks of kind of going, no, yes,
I know,
no.
I was talking
even
about it.
I completely forgot.
I told him
last night.
Like one of mine that doesn't make me a basic bitch is like Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder.
That's true.
I listened to both discs every morning for like a year.
Wow.
And if you've never heard it, it's a great.
Well, I didn't see that coming, but neither did Stevie.
Do what now?
I didn't see that coming, but neither did Stevie.
You said something like that earlier.
It's the same joke.
He's recycling that joke.
Yeah, why not?
I was like, was that Stu that said that or somebody else I talked to today? It was you.
No, that was me.
All right then. Well, fellas, it's been lovely. Stu, it's always been a pleasure. You look so dapper.
Thank you.
And I know it's late there and you're dressed up.
No, this is just how I dressed.
You
That's
like
just how
my
you dress.
This is just how I.
You like my
I've
Minoan
actually just
villa?
went. Sorry.
You like my Minoan villa?
It's beautiful. You
I thought you
abroad
said
for Christmas?
you like my armadillo?
I didn't know what he said, and then I guessed it was his background.
Do you like my armadillo? Yes, Jeffrey, we love your armadillo.
Aren't you on the
Is
outside?
that a euphemism for something sexual?
An armadillo?
Could be.
It's
Could
the
be.
least sexual
I don't
creature
know.
ever.
Well, yeah, but like an
Only if I had
uncircumcised
leprosy.
penis is a helmet, so an armadillo wouldn't be that far.
No.
Only if I had leprosy.
We had an advert here back in the 80s for dime bars. Did you get dime bars?
Say what?
Is he talking about a dime bag?
Dime bar. It's a
Dime
chocolate bar. Yeah. Do you not get dimes? It's like a nuggety, chocolatey thing. I think you got quite like it. But there's an advert.
Call me a fat person, Stu? You're right.
No, I'm not fat shaming. I love fat guys.
I know you do.
I do.
Stu has a Santa Claus thing.
I do have a Santa Claus thing.
Talking about his
Oh,
type.
oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he only comes once a year.
That's kind of sad, actually.
You know
It
what?
is.
You know what my type is? You know, James. However, how do you introduce yourself?
They call me James.
James here. He likes Asian women. He likes Persian women. He likes very thin women.
Yes.
So
Richard likes the Asian boys.
I mean, that's the thing. Someone told me that's called a rice queen.
Yeah,
If you're a rice queen, then you like Asian boys.
Is it-
And I'm like, wow, that's interesting, dear, because I don't know how we ever got together, because I have no melanin or ethnicity to me.
It's because you're bootylicious.
Oh, you said all the right things.
But what's my type? It's usually nerdy white boys, dark hair, light eyes, usually on the fluffier side. So
Nice.
Definitely have the fluff.
Got a lot
All right,
of
let's
fluff.
work.
So he's
We
exactly
got
my
fluff.
type.
Yeah.
With that big old brain.
Yeah.
Richard's generally my type, but he's a bit tall for what I usually got. I normally quite like them short, fat, and hairy.
Oh, how tall is he?
Oh God, he's about 6'1".
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
Maybe a bit taller.
I'm gonna say, how tall are you? You're like 5'10", 5'11"?
5'11", yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, he's quite tall. So but I'm normally gonna go for quite short guys. So.
Well, I'm
He's
5'8.5", exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, you're like the exact national average for the United States is 5'8".
really?
Yeah.
I got a half an inch on most people, or an inch
To
on,
Richard, it'll be a land of
or an inch
hobbits,
on
that.
most people, depending on what you're talking about.
You're just standing up or lying down.
You should wear the Santa hat.
Yeah, I think I will wear this on hat. That's kind of what I got it for. But it is, for some reason, I am very hot though. So, because I'm in London for Christmas. So, and this is
London for Christmas.
London for Christmas. First time in 12 years.
London
Really?
calling.
Yeah. Well, I kind of got a little bit sick of the countryside. I'm seeing the same thing over and over and over.
Surely not.
Trees. More.
I know, like Jeff. I don't know how you're handling. You go out sometimes to go with the park and stuff.
Not a whole lot.
No. So you've been staring at the same four walls in your apartment.
Mostly the screens.
Okay.
Which I do put up various like outside scenes. Lots of campfires in the snow and stuff like that.
Do you feel like you're in a prison?
Not too much. There
Well, sometimes.
the food's good and there's conjugal visits. So.
Well, okay. Well,
Let's go visit.
at least there's that. At least there's that. I mean, okay. All right. You going to count us in?
It's not actually necessary anymore.
Or just say action.
All right, 3, 2, 1. That cough is kind of anemic.
Okay. Wait. Let's try this again. Yeah. All right, I'm waiting for my countdown.
Oh, okay. 3, 2, 1.